Hi, and welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings with me, your host, A Punk with Toys, or Lawrence. More and more of you call me Lawrence in the chats when you guys see me. And I think it confuses a lot of people because I still don't think people realize that I actually do a YouTube show, a channel. But yeah, it's crazy seeing my name, and you guys seem to know me and everything else. So anyway, how is everyone? How was everyone's weekend? How'd your Monday go? You know what? There's nothing like starting off your Monday at work and you just want the week to end already. You look at some of your calls, things you got going, and you're like, you know what? Let's just get to Friday. Or to Thursday at least. Let's get to Thursday when we get to talk with Tony on Thursday with a friend. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more. So quickly, I got got a new ticker here for everyone. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. So yeah, a little ticker for how many Batmans, how many Snake Eyes, how many Jokers have been announced for the day. This is Allison Troy's Monday Night Batman announcements. She doesn't even know about this yet. She's finding out as you guys are finding out. Anyway, doesn't look like I can put multiple images in the corners, and I don't want to get rid of my logo because everyone needs to know who I am. So anyway, how was everyone? How was everyone's toy hauls? How was you pick anything up? Bees Battleground quickly jumps in and says there are a lot more Snake Eyes than that. No. Those are the announcements for just today. That's just the announcement for today, all right? There's new ones going up every single day. So anyway, I gotta say, there doesn't seem to be a lot of news, but there's more than enough news. And again, sometimes when things get announced on a Wednesday, everyone has already talked about it, and it seems like by the time it gets here, but we're definitely going to get into it. So anyway, the chat's already going. That is awesome. Why is there only 16 people? 16 people, that's just 16 likes, right? At least 16 likes. So anyway, let's go over the toy pickups really quick before we get into the chat. So if you've been watching the channel, you've seen a bunch of different things. And you've seen the nice, bright, colorful Saurazork Warriors. I gotta say, if you guys like Motu, these figures they're just really cool. I do enjoy them. You know, there's one that I have a little QC issue with. But you just look at those vibrant colors. These things are going to stand out on your shelf. When people walk through, they look at your shelf, and I mean, they already think we're dorks anyway. You see this, and someone's going to ask you about them. So they really do look cool. I'm really started to like this one. I mean, he just pops. The blue, that purple, the pink. Just everything looks really, really nice. So, again, if you like Motu, they're going to fit in absolutely wonderful. And here is the Triceratops I mentioned before. He was always my favorite dinosaur. I did I made this book in 5th grade. I think I told it. I made a book in 5th grade. We all had to write a book. And so I had to write a book. And at the end of the year, 3 people's books got picked to stay if we wanted it to, and I let mine stay. I wish, you look back at things, when you're in 5th grade, you don't think about it, but I wish I would have kept it. I wrote a story that they ate 3 bones and they protruded out, and that's why they get the horns. And then I got this big, giant gargoyle. And this guy is absolutely huge. If you like the gargoyles, you're going to like this guy. He's beefy. He's heavy. So I don't know how you're supposed to use the rockets and everything, but it is super, super cool. I love it. And the wings, they do articulate a little bit, so you can actually bring them in so they're not completely in the way. But as I mentioned, the tail is really what knocks everything over. And then, not my favorite figure because of some of the QC issues, but the Arctic Bat, he looks absolutely awesome. All right, the chainsaw is awesome. I wish I could use it on all the different ones. I do like the blue here. I just wish it kind of popped a little more, like it looked like actual electronics. So, but there was someone that mentioned earlier. I told him that I would show this. I'm not even sure who he is. I've never seen him in the chat. Yes, what does that head look like on the Crimson Bat? And he looks awesome. The grays are the exact same. That this head actually fits on there, so it's actually pretty cool. Other than he's like completely loose and Hasbro, get your shit together. That's all I can say. But this actually looks really awesome on it, to be honest. So that was kind of like, oh, man, they need to buy another Crimson Bat so I can put that head on them and have multiple heads. Yeah. Anyway, let's get in the chat. Let's say hi to everyone. Earlier, Fitness Frank was here. Seems people kind of like the topic. And same with Ray Paz. I haven't seen them yet. You guys aren't seeing theirs because they don't show up. If you're in too early, you don't see the chat. So say hi to Jason. We got PC Games and Thing. David R. We got Matthew, the moderator. Again, what he says goes. Ronnie Trickshot. Again, I'm going to have to talk with him one day just so we can talk about the Destro. And then we have Allison Troy's Monday Night Batman announcements right here. Oh, here's Ray. So Ray is in the house. All right, we got Viper Scout, Bees Battleground, who I already mentioned, my nemesis. If you don't know the story, well, you have to go watch another video of mine. We got Cobra Commander. You know, we're seeing more and more regulars. I absolutely love it. Sometimes this thing moves super slow. I can't tell what it's doing. And Johnny Reno's in, but where is Tony Romo? He better be saving. If he's not here, he better be saving lives. You better be saving lives. That's all I know. Skyfall, BMW, Cobweb, who I spent 5 hours with, roughly 5 hours with, Saturday night over on Astrodamus's stream. Unusual Mike Teller. Thank you very much. If you haven't checked this guy out, he's actually really, really good. And he's a big time YouTuber. So I love when I get some of the bigger YouTubers that are actually finding out who I am without having to pimp myself out like some of the other YouTubers. I didn't just say that, but I did just say that. Anyway, how are you? All right, so let's just get into a couple things here. So I did mention. There. Okay, all right. Yeah, I was notified about where you were. I was notified. Okay, that's cool. I see how it is. Anyway, I did mention a little while back, and I showed it, that I had a shirt that was supposed to be going up, and unfortunately, it took forever for them to approve this. So this is kind of going to be part of the comic book base that I'm going to try and do. If you know this this issue, it's Storm Shadow. On the issue, they make it look like Quick Kick actually stood a chance against Storm Shadow, and if you read the episode, he didn't stand a chance. But they finally approved it. And so you can see, I actually put May of 2023. That's when it was supposed to come out. Unfortunately, it just came out. So if you are interested, this is up there along with some of the other merch, like the new Punk with Toys Vision Streetwear shirt. Now, I do believe that some people think I kind of push the merchandise a little bit too much, but hey, you know what? We're all doing this. I'll try to get along and just have a good time. So, so here is a little picture of my pickups. Kind of got things out of order right now. Matthew says his Shang-Chi also turned into Quick Kick. So, dude, he was perfect. I mean, if I did paint work, like I've seen so many other people do paint work, he's an absolute spitting image of what Quick Kick was. And then before we get into it, Thursday, as I mentioned, with Tony Romo, Thursday with a friend, 10 to midnight normally. That's what I'm shooting for, live. And we're just going to be chatting with them, getting to know someone else in the chat. You can watch the one that I did with Allison if you're interested. It's not so much, I mean, yeah, we'll be talking toys, but it's get to know who he is, you know, where he's from, how his family life is, different things like that, why he was such a crappy quarterback, and everyone thinks that he's good. Different things like that. All right. So there's that. And like I said, channel members, I think we've already discussed this. Allison's a channel member. I did put up some B-roll stuff, which I don't know if people find it interesting. It's more or less me just when I lose it and I just kind of curse at myself. As of right now, I'll be doing more stuff later on. So let's remove this quickly. So I'm not going to give any spoilers out. I did see the Flash movie. I found it entertaining. I wouldn't say that I think that it was a great movie, but it was definitely an entertaining movie for sure. It hits the Michael Keaton vibe. That's for sure. So if you like Michael Keaton, I think you might enjoy it. Crazy thing is, as much as I don't like him as a person, you kind of start to like Ezra Miller as the Flash. Absolutely crazy. So, and quickly, I do want to say hi to Action Figs. Check him out on Wednesday. It comes up here. You know, I'm going to have to redo this all over again. Maybe I'm going to start using the other stream or the other site. And Cobra Law is also in the house. I'll say hi to Cobra Law. I would like to say hi to everyone. I feel like I need to because, you know, I'm going to start ignoring you guys pretty soon. Odin 01, opening my Valaverse Eclipse exclusive from Joe Fest. Be careful around the careful that the neck doesn't break. You better heat that up because my nemesis, Bobby B, his snapped right off. And if you want to hear a grown man go from being super excited to completely having his day ruined, go watch that video. And then to hi to Masterversal Toy Hunter. You got a lot of good YouTubers in here, a lot of good guys that just join us. So anyway, let's get into this. I know I always say I don't have a lot to talk about, and then we end up sitting here rambling on for quite some time. And Brick something. Brick something. Here, that you're here. I gotta tell you. Here, I'm gonna highlight you right here. If it comes up. And I hate when this doesn't work like this. Brick, I believe I sent you an Instagram message, but you don't follow me, so I don't think you got it. So, of course, everything is moving super. I don't know why everything's moving slow right now. All right. Oh, hold on. So let's see. It says X-Man, he's 87. His broke too. Ooh, wow. Yeah. There are a lot of issues with those females' ankles and their heads breaking. So you guys be careful with them, man. Heat them up. I'm not talking Valaverse today, but Brick, don't worry about it. You're not a jerk. With a lot of people we talk to. You know, the female wave really seemed it felt more like Series 1. And so I don't know if it went back to the same factory. They really should use, I mean, if the factory that does the SDS is the only one they can use, they should use that because they make almost perfect figures. But a lot of people had issues with heads breaking, and the ankles breaking, and you know, not a lot of people really want to mention it for some reason. Like they're scared that they're going to hurt someone's feelings. Anyway, let's get into the news. Okay, and you know where we start. We always start with the Masterverse. Masters of the Universe, because for some odd reason, I have a hard time getting traction. So let's get it in there because it's something I do enjoy. Mossman, and let's just say here, this will not be going in Robo from the Frush's house at all because he hates flocked stuff, which I find hilarious that he just hates flocked stuff so much. But we all have those things that we just don't like just for some odd reason. So anyway, yeah, totally lost my train of thought. So anyway, here's kind of what he looks like. Different heads. He has been pushed back. They said till the end of September, possibly. So from now to end of September, that he's going to be announced. I got to remove my banner here. I don't know how people go all. I don't know how people go all stream looking at a banner because it drives me nuts. Here's the packaging. I do like the packaging. It's toned down. It looks smaller than some of the other ones. Packed some stuff in there. You can see the mini comic in the back. Again, the reuse of different things. I mean, Motu and they're just they're the masters of reuse, but they do such a good job. And for such a inexpensive toy still, I think it's awesome. I really do enjoy these. Here he is swinging his little mace. So this is a Walmart exclusive. So if you are interested, this is definitely what we're going to get. Alice, you don't watch the Frush? Yeah. Robo has a weird thing that if it's flocked, it does not come in his house. And it's hilarious to watch him because you can tell it's not a gimmick. It's you can tell that guy does not like anything flocked. I find it absolutely hilarious. I actually think this head looks better, to be honest, than the one that is mostly that they've been showing. I like this one even though it's not flocked. And this comes with the Beast Man from the mini comic Beast Man. So if I do get it, which I probably will, that's the one I'll be getting. This one he looks like he's got a big giant beard. All right. Then we had our so Target had their geek out or whatever they're doing right now. I can't follow it. I can't hardly even find it. I have it on the app. I can't find it on the app for some reason. I had to follow someone's link. So these are the Masters of the Universe that they showed off. The Sunman 3-pack. I hate doing this, but just wait till this thing goes on sale for $25 if you want it, because it's going to go on sale for $25. I discuss how many. I don't know how many times I've discussed. I think 6-inch vehicles won't last because people won't buy them. When you know that they're going to go on sale or on clearance, it just is one of those things where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to wait it out. So Brick says, honestly, I'm with Robo. Sorry, Ellison reminds me of a Chia Pet. It definitely does, especially the green one. I mean, the space voice here. Mossman, is he not just Swamp Thing after they took a lawnmower to him? Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, to be honest. Damn, we got a pretty big we got a nice little chat going here. Lots of guys here. Digital Diarrhea just jumped in here. I'm late. How's everyone doing? All right. So again, if you want this, great. It's there for you. These things just look I think these things look awful. The one guy has pizza on him. The other guy looks like Psych Out from G.I. Joe, who was one of the worst action figures of all time. And then the first guy with the white, he looks like an American Gladiator. So we all liked American Gladiators, but I don't know. So Kick Toe, I don't know. Not really. I like a lot of the Masters Rulers of the Sun figures, but yes, Tony, thank you. Hit that like button, please. It pushes this out. Because again, we want to be the biggest Toy Tube channel going on Monday night. So, but again, people can watch it on the replay. So we got a few other ones that were shown. Extendar. This thing looks awful. I'm sorry. This may be one of the worst Masters of the Universe figures that I have seen. I don't know. I can't get behind it. But I think when he's extended, he looks even worse. It was like they took Mechanic and they were like, all right, people love Mechanic. His neck extends. Let's make everything extend. And I mean, he kind of looks like an old school football player on the head, but the body is just a complete mess. So Matthew O'Brien, thank you for the super chat. Happy Monday. Lawrence and crew just got off work and wanted to drop in. Now everyone go back another Dragonfly. Oh, we will be talking about that because I see people are trying to do the Ghost Rider thing and get people. But thank you for the super. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Yes, if you haven't backed the HasLab and you're going to, just do it now. I mean, we're going to get into it a little bit. We're going to get into it more, but just back it now. You don't get charged till the end. We don't get charged to the end. So let's see. Someone just said, where's it at? The PNC says Extender was always a goof off. Viper Scout. But I like Psych Out with his Lobot headset. Lobot was awesome. I mean, he was. I don't know if there's a bigger show. I hate that I click things and it doesn't go up. Cobra says, "Is there a bigger show on Monday?" Now I have to look. See, I don't know. I don't know anyone else that's going on right now because I think I've had this lockdown now we started in November, right? End of November. Black Friday was the first live stream that I did, which was Friday, obviously, if it was Black Friday giveaway. But anyway, I'm just not a big fan of this figure. So, then we get Spike Gore, and another one I am not a fan of at all. I wasn't as a kid. I can tell you if this was a NECA, a Valaverse, a Mythic Legions, like you would not be able to touch his spikes. They would actually hurt. Like all those companies, like the plastic they use they're like knives. They're pokey. Oh man, so this guy you wouldn't even be able to touch. Now if this was a classified figure, everything would probably be soft and limp. Like a lot of those blast effects they did. So, but Spike Gore, if you're interested, I don't hate Spike Gore. I just don't think I'm going to be getting him. I'm really picking and choosing now with the Masters of the Universe Origins because they've gotten into the point that there are figures that I didn't know. But here they are. And this guy here, oh man. So here's Roken. I don't know if that's how you say his name. So awful. I want to say, Allison says, these are the 3 Rulers of the Sun figures I've been waiting for the most. I love how 80s they are, and that bright yellow. Those are gonna rock. I don't see it. I don't. I can't. I like Pighead. There's just something about him. I don't care. I just don't care for them. But this guy is just. So if this guy reminds me of. Did anyone have the 2 Transformers that all they did was you pulled them back and they shot and then they flipped up? One was white and had drills, like he was drilling into rock, and the other one was like a spaceship. But when they hit a certain point, they would pop up and they had big feet and they just landed right on there normally. This looks like the blue one. That's the only thing that I see, and he turns into a rock. So it just reminds me of that Transformer. If anyone knows, I know there's some Transformers guys in here. If you know who those are, just you gotta put them both there. Johnny Reno says, yes, the jump starter to have both. So have both stall. Well, what are their names? So here the PNC says top spin and twin twist. That does not even ring a bell. And I had them both. Doesn't even ring a bell. That's crazy. Because I actually really liked the blue one. I really liked the blue one, and they were fun as a kid. And you were always like disappointed when they didn't land on their feet. Here's the artwork with the 3 of these figures. Again, artwork looks amazing. Unfortunately, the toys are spending money on these. I think these things are way cooler. There's Slushhead. Now, this is a Masterverse. I think this is so awful. Now, I'm not big into the Masterverse. I'm definitely not into this He-Man iteration. But I think this figure looks awful. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry because it doesn't matter. If you like it, you like it. Go buy it. It's just, I think he looks stupid. And when I see the head, I think of either the people from Mars Attacks, or I think about those big heads from The Simpsons, the aliens from The Simpsons. I know he doesn't fit aesthetically into it, but the face and everything with the glass ball and everything. I mean, this actually doesn't look all that bad, but I'm glad that people are getting stuff that they may have been waiting for. Ryan Sweeney says, what's going on, folks? Hey, nice to see Ryan. I hope Mikey doesn't show up today, though. Oh, no. Hey, Anthony, you mean the Dreadnought. That's the Dreadnought, Ryan, not the Dreadnought. Nice to see Ryan in the house. If you don't know, Ryan does the Island of Misfit Toys. He's also a Detroiter. He doesn't live in Detroit either because he has a family. People with families don't raise their kids in Detroit. All right. So I do say this artwork looks awesome. This artwork looks absolutely awesome. But I'm just not a fan of the figure. So, but yeah, this is, I mean, again, if you like it, awesome. It's there for you. Pick it up. Have fun with it. Or wait till it goes on sale because it's going to go on sale. So here we have the Atom. I don't remember if they've shown this. I feel like they have. No, I do like them giving us a different iteration of Atom where he's smaller. Because at least then you don't question why no one can figure out Atom is He-Man. You have people that are like, oh, they can't figure out who Superman is. And at least he wears glasses and puts his hair in a different way. I mean, Atom looked just like He-Man and was always gone when He-Man was around. It comes with 2 different swords. I do like the sword where it's kind of changing. He definitely does have like the laughing head, which really fits into the cartoon. And I really liked the animated show that came out. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I actually really did enjoy it. Revelation, right? I think Revolution is going to be the next one. So I am interested to see where they take it. Clamp Champ, again, I think he's still one of the corniest figures. The whole Clamp is, I think, god-awful. But I think the figure actually looks really nice. But the Clamp that looks like a beetle, I don't get that. Matthew, shut your mouth. It was not terrible. I liked it. I really did. My daughter and I watched it. I love having shows that you can watch with your kids. It's usually my daughter. My son doesn't really. He watches a few things, and my daughter will pretty much come down and, you know, all right, fine, we'll just watch whatever. Yeah. And Fisto, Anthony brings up him and Fisto, I'm assuming, are talking about their demise. Now, when I see Fisto, I only think of one person, and that is Thanos Copter fisting in the Friday. His Wednesday picture. Yeah, see, Brick says it too. I'm with you, Lawrence. Revelation was great. My kids loved it too. Yeah, I didn't like the other one. I couldn't really get into the other one, but like I know guys like Geek Dead Life and stuff, like John and Jay, they raved about it. That they really liked it. We just couldn't get into it. But poor Evil Lynn. Oh man, Evil Lynn was hot. She looked hot. But yeah. Now I'm not a big fan of this character. I've mentioned before my feelings on spiders. I don't like spiders in my house. Spiders shouldn't be in my house. I went downstairs into the G.I. Joe room and one had made a web completely around my tomahawk, which was oh so much fun to have to clean up. But I gotta say, the colors on this really, really do pop. So I really do like this figure, just in general, just the color of them. And I love the way they did like the gun and it kind of shoots out. But again, he's a spider. Now, I don't mind Spider-Man because he's not a spider. But this guy even has eyes like a spider. But the colors, I think, really do work. The blue and the purple. So I had to throw him in here. And if he wasn't a spider, maybe if he lost the eyes, you know, I wouldn't mind that much. And there he is, like, yes, I got Lawrence. Getting his house. And I never go to Australia, man. They got those big, giant huntsman spiders that are the size of a hand. And then they say they don't even spin webs, so I don't know what the hell. Like, so they're just there to scare the shit out of me? Like, that, I don't need that in my life. All right? Then there's the Skeletor. I think the Skeletor, if this thing goes on clearance or on sale, I can definitely see myself picking it up. The colors just, in my opinion, are awesome. The Havoc Staff with that nice red. I really like this. Everything that I saw about it, including the soft goods, awesome. Well, Spider Pig's not. He's actually a pig, but he got bit by a spider. See, the Spider-Men aren't real spiders. You know, Spider Pig is a pig, and you know what pig is? Bacon. Bacon. Yum 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 yum. But I like this. I like this Skeletor. I think the colors are just really, really pop. You know, again, I like the translucent, or at least what looks like a translucent head of the Havoc Staff. That cape kind of looks okay, but everything else looks really good. And then the fourth picture, I just had to throw it in because we've all seen him running away. So I think it's pretty cool there. Action Fig says, Allison Troy Spider-Ham is okay. Lawrence, exactly, man. Bacon, it's so good, man. Like, I mean, I know it's like really good for you, and I know people go on that keto diet and they eat like a bunch of bacon, and you're like, I mean, it sounds really good, but it also sounds like a heart attack. Someone actually just sent me one of those videos, and there's this lady, and she's talking about like how she gets her kids to eat vegetables, and she's like, I fry my bacon, and then they dip their vegetables in the bacon grease, and they love it. There's no problem to get them to eat. And he's like, I'm no doctor, but I don't think you have to worry about them. You're living too long doing that. All right. So that is the end of that slide. So we'll get out of this. Believe it or not, listen, I'm giving away a lot of different secrets that you might have heard here. Um, it's funny because when I do these slides now, because I do them all in PowerPoint, if there's over 50 megabytes, you can't load a bigger than 50 megabyte uh, PowerPoint. StreamYard says, nope, can't do that. So, unfortunately, I have to break it down because the one slideshow was just over 100. So I had to break it up into 3. That doesn't even include the badass women that we will be talking about really shortly. So, yeah, nice bunch. But that's just running away. That's him running away. The Candy Havoc Staff. We did discuss it. Okay, so anyone that watched our I can't even think. Punks on Film about the Road Warriors, the Road Warrior, Mad Max 2. Did anyone notice the Havoc Staff that was in there when they came through? Like, it was crazy. Like, the Havoc Staff was just sitting right there. But well, Brick says here, I'm keto 90% of the time. You're good, Lawrence. If you've been straight edge, your heart can handle the cholesterol. It's a smoking alcohol that can roughen your arteries and not get clogged by bacon. You know what? I will be sure to. What's funny is that the only thing I have is high blood pressure. I don't know what I'm going to tell you guys. I have like really good health, and my doctor's like, dude, like you're kind of on there, but you're a big boy. You carry a lot of muscle. He's like, I don't even know where you would lose it from. But then he said he thinks I have white coat syndrome, which means like there's people that the moment they sit down, they just have high blood pressure. And then he talks to me for a little bit, and then he tests it. And he's like, all right, it's a little bit lower, so it's not that bad. But I was at the dentist getting a tooth extracted, and they were like, let me try your other arm. And they were like, do you have high blood pressure? And I was like, I don't know why. And he's like, yeah, you need to go see a doctor. And as he was extracting the tooth, he proceeded to tell me all the bad things that can happen with high blood pressure. And it pretty much scared the living crap out of me. Not enough to lose weight, but all right. So let's get into. Now, we talked about these last week, but there was something that I want to discuss on them. So these are the entertainment exclusives. The Blacklight edition. But the one thing, and I saw it on the Foosh, he was talking about, he goes, who even has a Blacklight anyway? But then McFarlane showed off for $30, he gives you 2 black lights that go with the stand. So no, don't worry. I actually take fairly good care of myself, to be honest. I did a half-hour of cardio, took a shower, shaved my head again before the stream. So, yeah, this is. I'm not a big. I don't care for this, but I love the fact that he does this black light. He's like, hey, listen, we're gonna give these small black lights as part of the stand. It'd be cooler if they had like a USB, to plug it in, boom, and turn on. But let's hi to Mr. Wonderful really quick. Just so you guys know, this is not Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. This is Mr. Wonderful, who is doing Hexastack stands, and we will have him in 3 weeks on Thursday night with a friend. Thursday with a friend, not Thursday night. Thursday with a friend. He will be on after Tony, 2 weeks after Tony. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So. And then we have this. Oh, and here's what he looks like. So it is cool. I like that he does this stuff. And McFarlane really does seem to like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to pack as much into it as we can. We're going to give you the best value that we can. And I think it's great. I don't always care for the figures, but hey. And then you have the Scarecrow, or who said that he looked like the guy from the Mad TV? Not Mad TV. I forget. Someone will. But he has the same thing. He comes with the stand and the black lights. So if you're wondering why do I want to buy this, I don't own black lights. Maybe you're a hippie and you do own black lights. I don't know. As you can see, this one, and I think this one lights up really awesome. I don't remember the Scarecrow ever looking like this, but hey, I didn't watch a lot of Spy vs. Spy. Thank you, Machine Man. All right. So I didn't want to talk about this. I saw this over on Toy Habits. So this is from Palatoy. And this is a Death Star playset. And I think this is really, really cool. And you can see they have the vintage figures, or at least figures that look vintage. And I believe a lot of this is cardboard, but I'm not sure if everything around it is. But they have a whole bunch of different playsets that they have. Here you can see like the generator that Obi-Wan is turning off. Now, I don't know how these stormtroopers don't notice them. Maybe their eyesight is as bad as their shot. But I do think this is really nice. It's something different, but if you have a display with your Star Wars figures, this is going to be awesome. Or it could probably be broken down and do all kinds of other things. You wouldn't have to use it. You could probably take off stuff that doesn't have the Stormtrooper there and use it for G.I. Joe or anything like that. So I do want to come over here. Hopefully we won't freeze up that bad. So let's add this to the stream because I have it up here. They have a whole bunch of different ones, and it's Palatoy. So quickly, I'm going to remove this here. You can see my big shiny mug right now. Let's present this and go to share screen. This is all the fun things that you guys don't get to see behind the scenes stuff. All right. So hopefully I don't freeze up too bad. You can kind of watch it over here and see. So here you have that. So here's like the Hoth playset, and see if you can see. So they kind of give you different angles and everything, but this is really cool. I mean, you could use this with any of the newer 4-inch figures. Any of your 4-inch Star Wars figures, whether it be the classic ones. 4-inch 3.75, but it's something that like I don't really remember them ever having. But yeah, this is Palatoy, spelt Paleetoys, Palatoys. To the photo gallery here because they have a bunch of different playsets. Okay, so that's just that one. So, shop here. Now they're all sold out right now, and I do believe that Toy Sorceress has it, so that's where she kind of was able to get it. But here you have like Bad Day for a Peaceful Planet. I mean, this is super cool. I mean, you look at that; they've never done a playset like that. I mean, it's a pretty bad day. But just to have Tarkin, Vader, and Princess Leia watching her planet get blown up is it's just sadistic. But I think that these are really cool. Again, if you're a big Star Wars fan, I could see that, and especially if you display it, Palpatine. If you're here watching. Why this keeps when certain websites just don't act the way they should, or at least in your mind you think they should. So here's the throne room. Now this one here, this is I mean if you're a big collector, this is the Emperor in his throne, Luke and Vader fighting, and then having just a couple guards right there. No, we don't need that. They're in the wrong spot, I think. But anyway, that was what I was showing you. Again, I am really impressed by it, to be honest. I think that looked really cool. I saw it on Toy Habits. I actually pull a lot of stuff from Toy Habits. If you're not checking out Toy Habits, you need to check them out, especially their website. Great source for the type of stuff that we talk. Not to mention, they do, I think, tutorials too, like Geek Dead Life and everything. Let's say hi to Ray Murphy really quick. I heard you were at Joe Fest. No one said if you were walking around shirtless or not. I'll throw inside jokes. Again, like if you're not on his Facebook, then you don't know some of his throwback pictures that he posts. And what I like is that he can take the joke. So I like when people can actually take a joke and not get upset about stuff, right? And there's too many people getting mad about things in this world. All right. And then SH Figure Arts showed this new Spider-Man No Way Home. So if you are interested in this, I kind of just threw this in there for some fodder. I know a lot of people like Spider-Man Marvel and then the figure art stuff. So he's sitting down. He is sitting there being quiet. So I'm not going to say anything. But you know he's going to cause a problem eventually. So don't worry. He'll be there. Where's my 1/6 scale or 1/12 scale that I've been waiting for, huh? I'm waiting. Whenever you get a chance, I'm waiting for it. Wow, we're already at G.I. Joe. It's going by pretty quick. We're only 47 minutes in. I still got like 2 hours and 13 minutes to fill. All right, so let's talk about the G.I. Joe Classified. These were the drops that came out on Wednesday. And this one here, I would say came out of nowhere. I know a lot of people don't really like it. I'm actually okay with it. I think it looks pretty nice, the colors. I do not need a Snake Eyes like this, but I do wonder right now what the Valaverse Urban Commando gear, Desert Commando gear would look like on this. How close that white, brown, whatever it is going to fit on that. Let's say hi to Mr. Popinski. This guy, if you're not following him on Instagram, you need to. He comes up with some really good memes. And we're going to have one a little bit later when we get to the HasLab. So, but I look at this figure, and again, if the Valaverse Desert gear fits, I think it's going to look really nice on it. Considering he doesn't have gear, he just has the bandolier. That Snake Eyes looks like socks. I like it. Honestly, I really do like it. I think it looks good, but again, give us something different. All you did was take, version 2, put version 1 retro head on it, give them all the same weapons, throw in this other blade because you have it. At least they gave it some paint apps to it, so they are getting better like that. I did hear someone complain about the Uzi, but again, if they did a Snake Eyes and didn't give an Uzi, people would throw a fit about it. So again, I get it. Here's the back of the box, everything that it comes with. Again, I think we've seen this 100 times. Let's see, Action Fig says here, if it comes up. Again, I don't know. I was having issues. With the head swap, he'd be a better Dusty than the Dusty figure is. I don't know, man. I like the Dusty. I like the Dusty. I know people really want the soft goods on the back. I think the Dusty's a good figure, but that's just me. So in the background, we do see Storm Shadow, and it looks way closer to the Storm Shadow that we got, or not, that we were supposed to get with Classified. Now, if you guys don't know, Classified was really supposed to go down the road that we were seeing with Operation Blackout. And then everyone cried about it, and no one wanted that. And so they did a 180. which is good because I think the new figures do look better. But again, people want them to update things, but the moment you do something that is not a classic character, they complain about it. So, but I don't mind this. Again, if you don't want it, don't buy it. It's that simple. If you don't want the Snake Eyes, just pass on it. But I do have. We're going to get to it. We're going to have one complaint. But so the Storm Shadow is in the background, and I do wonder if they waited to see what the feeling was going to be from the Haya Storm Shadow. Just kind of feel it out and say if people actually like that in the 4-inch. That 4-inch one is exactly what we were supposed to get. Was in the Operation Blackout. So, but he's too far away. All you'd have to do is change a few paint apps and everything like that. So, I think I like this, and I like having Desert Squad. And I don't need him to be my Snake Eyes. That mask that he has can be for anyone. Just lose the swords and everything. And like I said, I love when my dog just starts pushing off the throw pillows on my bed. He's just like, get out of my way. And then he buries himself into it. What Gas Snake Eyes always wears black. The thing is, Snake Eyes has not always been black. And Johnny Reno says hard pass. And that's cool. And this is why I get upset with people complaining about all the Snake Eyes. If all they were doing is giving us Snake Eyes, I'd understand. But they give us so many other figures. And again, repaints are meant to be put back in. No, it's okay. It's all right, handsome Henry John. Listen, it's hard. Like, you start trying to read some of these things, and yeah. Sean Foster says Snake Eyes is number 92. Well, we have several releases ahead. But what's weird is that there's a gap between Snake Eyes and the other ones. Like the other ones that they showed. So here he is, everything. Again, we've seen him 100 times. You know what he looks like. If you don't know what the Snake Eyes looks like, then you're probably not into Classified. Because they've done it a few times. Now they gave him the two swords. Someone did ask, what are you supposed to do with the throw-in sword? He doesn't have a sheath for it. It's almost like they threw it in there, and then someone was like, you might want to have a sheath for it, and they're like, who cares? There's the back of them. Again, I think the colors work, and I really do hope, because I am probably going to order one of those Valaverse desert gears and see how it fits. Again, another shot of them shooting. They do wonderful artwork. I mean, I would, or photography. Now, in the back here, people were wondering if that is a different Viper. That is a Crimson Viper. If you look at it, you can see the crimson all throughout it. He's holding his rifle. So they are showing off some figures that we haven't really seen yet. BMW Rhino says, I'll put Gridiron Helmet on him. Well, you guys are rich. Just kidding. And Allison says, we're up to 51 Batman right now. Batman figures announced. And his excitement, McFarlane announced 4 more Snake Eyes and 2 Glendas. Oh, don't say that name. People have already backed out. All right. I just love their photography work. Well, this was kind of boring, but they do such a good job. And a lot of the companies do. That is for sure. And here he is. I mean, he's just looking like a total badass. Throwing his swords around, and someone probably just shoot him. Make it a lot easier, right? All right. Again, he has nowhere to put this sword, so he has to carry it everywhere that he goes. Yeah, Brick. Yeah, he looks great in these action poses. All right. Let's get rid of this. As I said, I had to break this up. Man, we're moving really, really quick. I got to slow it down, or else we're going to be in a 2-hour show. I have to ask someone. Maybe ask someone to come on really quick. Anyone know what Travis is doing? Just kidding. Don't hit Travis up, because he'll actually message me and want to come on right now. Cobra Law says, have they shown what Shadow Tracker is going to look like yet? I think just the digital renders. They haven't actually shown the figure yet. That'll probably. I mean, that'll come before the end of the month. I am not into the mini mates, although I have them. I have the first ones up there. No, I don't. They're not mini mates. I'm sorry. I have the ones that are like in the little. They're like in the little domes and everything. And see, I just made I made 2 people laugh. Well, I made 3 people laugh. I made Matthew laugh. I made Anthony laugh. I made Ryan laugh. You know, if you say Travis's name 3 times, he just appears on your stream. So we can't say his name anymore. It's like Beetlejuice. He just appears. Okay. All right, so let's add this to the stream. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of there was a lot of news this week, and like I said, so much stuff was already covered. All right, well, I don't know why that didn't add. You have to say it. I mean, I would have to say it one more time. All right, so the Cobra Eel came out, and woo, I loved the Cobra Eel. Hey, you know what? I'll be more than happy if Glenda shows up. Because that will definitely get the views up, because so many people are really, really upset about that. So, Cobra Eel was one of my favorite figures. There are some complaints about this figure. There's no doubt about it. So the artwork was kind of shown off here. I know Baldy kind of pointed out that they're kind of like him and Torpedo should be on technically the same submarine, but I would just assume that they're at different points that they're on the submarine. Maybe this is when they're just getting back from a mission, and Torpedo and them are going to show up right afterwards or something like that. So here's the back of it. He really should have come with a submachine gun. It's the same as Torpedo did. They're using the Torpedo harpoon gun, which I know when I was watching A Toy Kind of Mood without Travis Moody. How's that work anyway? Anyway, it was mentioned that his the original Cobra Eel's harpoon gun was like really cool. It had two harpoons on it that were right above each other. It just looked really cool. Now, I did like the fact that they gave him the jetpack. It's not a flying jetpack, but it's a jetpack to be propulsionate. And they said there will be spots for some sort of effects that you can pop in there. Now, I mentioned that this to someone that I thought this was a digital render. I don't believe it is. So there are some issues with this. The knee was pointed out right away. So if this is an actual picture of the figure, this is obviously the same body as Torpedo, which so far no one has had anything really bad to say about it. But that knee, there's a problem. I don't know why they would show it. Also, no one wants to mention the shoulders up here that are just out of place. Now, if I'm going to complain about how the Valivers hang over, well, this one's, they don't even look like they're on right. I mean, but in the other pictures that we've seen, they don't look like this. So I have a feeling this was either a test, either a test figure, or this is a digital render. If this is a digital render, well, it's a digital render. Why would you put a bad one out there? Just something I don't get. But you got the big. I want to say flip flops. They're not flip flops. They are. What the hell? What the hell are the name of these things? Someone tell me. I can't think of it right now. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, I think it's just a bad prototype. No, it is not because of it. Because flippers. Thank you, Viper Scout. Flippers and action face. Thank you. I hate when you just go completely blank and it's like, oh my god. I know the names of flippers. No, I thought so at first too, but you'll see other pictures as we go through that they're not like this. Not to mention, it just would aesthetically it wouldn't make sense. So, I love the helmet. The EO had such a unique look, and the helmet just stood out. And I love the fact that this buck here, it is going to be torpedo. It's going to be wetsuit. The EO obviously. What was the one stupid one with the one webbed hand? Hopefully if they do that one, they'll give you 2 different hands, so I don't have to have a webbed hand. So here again, like you can see how big this is sticking up here. It just doesn't look right. But you'll see in a second action. So here it is. Now, yeah, the knee kind of looks messed up here. So maybe it was set wrong. But I don't think so. These figures or these shots here. So when you look at this here, you can see that thing doesn't sit up nearly as big. The Hydro Viper. Okay, thank you guys. That was like towards the end of my time, but I do have. They better do a land here. Hydro Viper. Everyone's saying Hydro Viper. Thank you. I want to say hi to Big Bacon. We already talked about some bacon. You aching? Yep. For some bacon. Yep. I'm sorry. I love the Lion King, and I should never sing, but I did. I just said Timon and Pumbaa trying to make a way for Simba and Nala to get in. And Happy Anxiety. Nice to see you. All right. Okay. So, again, wonderful shots here. I need to find a way to get these guys to be in some sort of water scene. I mean, considering you really don't. I mean, I know Torpedo would go in like snow with his wetsuit on. Didn't make a lot of sense. He went everywhere, right? And they did mention, was it? I think the Full Force mentioned that this Cobra eel symbol was kind of spoiled on some shirts that were at Hot Topic or something like that. I forget exactly where he said. So I guess that was kind of spoiled before. But I think this figure is going to look absolutely wonderful. If it looks anything like, what we had as kids. But yeah, but again, action. What I'm saying is, I don't think that overlay is what caused it to sit up like that. But I mean, I could be wrong. It wouldn't make a lot of sense, but and this shot here. Oh, you know what? This shot, I put this on here. I did not even notice Torpedo sitting right here in the corner. So that is actually pretty cool. I didn't even notice that. Tony, this figure is dope. All these figures just look really, really good. Yes, and Brick something says, hit that like button. Thank you very much. We always forget to say that. And I want to say hi to Payne's Toy Samples. If you didn't catch me on his show a couple weeks ago now, go watch it. Tony Romo was on it last. He does a wonderful, wonderful job. He tries to break people down. He tries to get them to cry about their toys. It's a total hoot. It's a total hoot. I'm waiting to get him. I can't wait for him to get Allison on so she can do a total role reversal. And by the end of the stream, she's probably going to have Payne like in the fetal position crying. And she's going to be, I don't know what I did. But I really do like this figure. I really do. I always like the eels, and I have a few eels myself. One that's complete. The other one is a mix and match of complete, along with the accessory pack ones, which was like a dark blue, but I used marker to try and make it all black. Quickly, Grape jumps in here. Grape 0001. What's up? Hoping the QC issues are worked out on these next runs of fake. So here's what I can say. And I'll address this really quick. So I did get Rock and Roll, and Rock and Roll is awesome. Like, the figure is really, really good. I know people have gotten Torpedo in hand, and they've also gotten Copperhead in hand. Now, Anthony obviously has an issue with his Copperhead, where he has two right thighs, I think. So the stripe is on the wrong side. Something weird like that. I don't even know how they were able to do that. But everyone else that I've seen has said that these feel really good. And I got to say, the Rock and Roll is really good. Now, I do have an issue with the weapons still. They're still a little bit too soft for me. Can't believe I said that. The weapons are still a little too bendy, I guess. But yeah. I'll quickly say hi to Viewmaster Figure. Meant to say Deep Sea Diver added. And then Jay Bartlett. Check out Jay Bartlett's shows. Jay, I don't know how you are doing live streams. I swear, I feel like at least 10 hours a day. And they're always different. They're always really interesting, different ones, from video games to toys. So check out Jay Bartlett. And he's such a good guy. I mean, you got to feel bad for all the Canadian guys that, I mean, they just want one of their teams to win the Stanley Cup. I mean, it's been since '93. Just messing with you, Jay. I don't even think you care about hockey. Though you can't spit and not hit someone I know that cares about hockey. All right. So here's Tunnel Wrap. Now, it seems like there has been overwhelming people like this figure. Now, the one thing, you know what? I take it back. I forgot to mention something. I'm going to go back to this one. So, I am one of those people. I really do not like people. People bag on Emily about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about that too, Brian. Matt, we're going to talk. I'm going to discuss this too. Chris's interview with Brian Flynn. And I guess, yes, I will be discussing this. I was watching review videos and they're terrible. Glad I passed. Yeah, I'm going to be discussing that because everything I said is true. So anyway, I am not big on people bashing Emily because, first off, I don't care what she looks like. I don't care if she's overweight. All right? That has nothing to do with what she does. And when people want to bag on her, listen, the G.I. Joe brand is doing better than it has in over 20 years. Now, it's not all her. I understand that. A lot of it has to do with people are starving for it. People want a 6-inch figure rather than a 4-inch figure. I get that. But she's on other lines. And Hasbro keeps her around for a reason. But this is a problem. This is one thing that I will say that I think this is where she should have stepped up. And Lenny kind of also. The eel, which I do believe they will be making more, should not have been an Amazon exclusive. Now, if you're watching this on the replay or you're one of the people that are in here, don't get at me about how Hasbro Pulse didn't have that many. They don't even have to have any. It is an Amazon exclusive. So I don't care that Hasbro Pulse doesn't have any, right? But this should have been the fan channel exclusive. Okay? This is what the fan channel should have been, so you can go to anywhere. Entertainment Earth, BBTS, all the toy shops that you're going to get. This is the one that should have been. That Desert Commando Snake Eyes that one should have been the Amazon one because that's the one that no one really wants. Anthony, I agree with you. But again, when I say exclusive to the fan channels, that's where most people get this stuff. I don't care about Target and Walmart. Those ones are, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. But I mean, like the fan channels, yeah, you should be able to get this anywhere, not just Amazon. That makes absolutely no sense to me. So they should have taken that Desert Commando Snake Eyes and made that the Amazon exclusive. And said, okay, well, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Right? And again, there's going to be more of them. Chris McLeod from the Full Force, he said it. If Chris McLeod tells you something is happening, it's happening. He knows. He's even mentioned before, like, I don't know. He's very transparent, all right? He doesn't hide things. He would be a good poker player, right? He may not tell you what's coming, but he'll let you know that he knows. Sometimes in a way that he's not supposed to. But he's already said that they're gonna be getting more of these. And they should. So this, if you want to get on Emily and say, hey, as the brand manager, the marketing manager, she should have said, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. I'm fine with that. Because now you're talking about the job that they're doing. I agree with you, Lawrence. Bagging on someone's weight says more about you than the person insulting. Exactly. And I want to say this. Some of these people that are bagging on her about their weight, about her weight, listen, I've clicked on your Facebook profiles. And I don't think it's anyone in here right now. I've clicked on some of these Facebook profiles. Listen. You're not Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not Mr. Olympia. All right? I could go down a host of names of guys you don't look like. Just stop. All right? And I know we've dealt with this before, but I love G.I. Joe, and so do most of these guys. You don't want me running the brand because it's not my job. There are guys that are general manager of car dealerships that may not be car guys, but they understand business. So, let's see here. Super. I can't say this, but anyway. Super Berserk. Maybe the mainline release, will be a red deco one. Yeah, there could be a whole. I mean, I think they're going to do some other things with it. There's no doubt about it. I would love if they did a night landing with one. That would be really cool. Because anything that you do that's a kind of like a small vehicle like that really should be an army builder. That's why the Trouble Bubble is the right thing to do with that Televiper. Because then you can put anyone in it. And you got 3 different heads. So, all right. So now I've addressed that. Let's get into cloud. Let's get into Tunnel Rat and address some of the issues that people have. And quickly, let's say hi to Sergeant Reds. John from Sergeant Reds. Again, him and his wife own the toy store. It is this toy store now that I'm probably shopping at more than anything. Actually, I know that it is. He's kind of like a dealer. Wonderful place. So if you are in Michigan and in Utica, Detroit area, hit it up. Say hi to him. Tell him Punk sent you. He knows who I am. And then say hi to the Lilith also. And of course, now it's Sky Patrol Kimberlyn. So now he's just throwing out different names. Yes, it is plastic crack, John. It is plastic crack. No doubt about that. So I have you, and then I have my 3D printing crack dealer who knows I can't say no to anything. So let's get into Tunnel Rat. There's been some talk about this. Now, he looks like a young guy. I really do wish that Lenny would say he was inspired by Larry Hama. Like, the original Tunnel Rat was designed after Larry Hama. Just because. I mean, why not just give Larry the credit? I mean, come on. Larry's are just good people. What can I say? I absolutely love this figure. I think he looks awesome. Now, the complaint that people have had, and I've had this discussion with a few people, is one, why would he have a machine gun if he's a tunnel rat? And as a kid, I even thought the same thing. And then there's one guy, Logan. And again, I don't dislike Logan because we talk all the time and we don't fight, you know. He has a lot of good talking points. But people were upset about the sniper on the machine gun. Just understand, it was on the original. People want classic figures, so they're giving you the the sniper on the machine gun, the scope on the machine gun. Yeah, I always thought it was stupid too as a kid because it didn't make any sense, but it's there. And then people would complain about the night vision goggles. About if you're going with old, Vietnam era weapons, why would you give them something newer? And to me, it's just like, they're just accessories. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. If you want to use some Valorverse weapons, go ahead and do it. I mean, they make great weapons. A lot of my figures no longer have the weapons that they came with. But I really do like this. The flashlights. People complain about the flashlights. They were on the original. People want their original one. If you don't like it, then you can just get rid of it. Cut it off. Grab another weapon. It doesn't matter, but that's what people want. So looking at this figure, I mean, he comes with everything that the vintage one came with, and I think he just pops. Now, he is much younger, which I'm fine with, than Larry Hama is, who's like 82. But I don't want an 82-year-old being my tunnel rat. That is for sure. So in the background, you have the bell from that awful G.I. Joe movie, where him and was it Big Lob that were fighting? I forget, for the bell, and he gets like hit up against the bell. I don't know. That's what that's in reference to. I hate that movie, so I don't really watch it too often. I hate Cobra. There's a bigger shot of everything. Again, it does have like a canister that's going to hold the bullets in it. So I think this thing looks really good. And what you can't see right here is it has. Let's see if I can find. Where did I put my rock and roll? Hold on. I find my rock and roll. There it is. So you can't see it. I don't know why they tended to hide it. I can't remember how to remove this stuff. Move this really quick. So the machine gun on for rock and roll here. So the machine gun for rock and roll here. This comes down and makes the nice little V shape, and then it goes right back up. Now this, again, I hate the fact that it's not straight. That is an issue. But this design, I love that these go back in the way they're supposed to. And you're not actually collapsing them, and they just go out. So I think that's a wonderful design. I love that they're going to do it on that. And again, I guess then you need a scope so you can mow down people with your machine gun. But again, if he's going in the tunnel, and someone else had mentioned, in Vietnam, like, they were carrying M16s, they would just hand the M16 off. Okay, so here you can see it again. Yeah, it's not the same machine gun, but it's the exact same bipod. And he looks kind of weird with everything kind of loaded up on here. And why you'd be carrying a 6-shooter and then have your machine gun in one hand. That is some Rambo commando shit right there. So here he is holding the flash. I love the flashlights. People are going to get such good photos out of this stuff. I think this is just really, really going to. Trickshot Ronnie says he's got a split. Ronnie out. Did you really just say Ronnie out? Like, you use yourself in the third person? Take care. Again, Ronnie is in Australia. Once again, I forgot to mention that I am the #1 U.S. toy tuber with Australians. I claim that. It is mine. You cannot take it. I probably should have done a banner on the bottom. Action Fig says quickly here. Let's see what it says. He's not even big enough to hold that machine gun in one hand. M16s are or were heavy weapons. Yes, but he's an action figure. All right, he's an action figure. I do always like hearing what people that were in the military have to say. I do. I also like when someone like Action Figs understands that, hey, this is entertainment, and they don't get so mad about things. Brick says here, seriously, you need to know who this photographer is, want to follow him. Now, if anyone would know, it'd probably be Matthew. Matthew seems to be usually tied into that type of stuff, so Matthew may know. So next shot here, this is the first hint that we are getting what looks to be zombie vipers. Now, I don't want zombies. I don't want Cobra Law. I want Cobra Law, the YouTuber in the stream. I don't want Cobra Law, the figures. I don't want Pythona. I don't want Globalus. I don't want Nemesis Enforcer. I don't care that they look cool. I don't want them. It was stupid. All right. But we're going to get zombies. Probably an easy repaint. Easy to do. They probably talk to the Marvel team, said, hey, how can we do this? How can we make it so, we can do our zombies? They already get the color. They get the paint. We'll probably see some zombie Cobra Troopers, zombie Vipers. Yeah, just not a huge fan of zombies in my G.I. Joe. Will I get them? Probably, because I have issues. And how I'll probably see them and probably think they look really good. Sean Foster says, what is this? I'll take all Joe's even neon color ones. Yeah, I will too. I have every single one. That's why I don't want Cobra Law, because I don't want to have to buy them. I guess I don't have to buy anything. Just saying I don't have to buy anything. But yeah, so you have zombie. It looks like Vipers. They might be Cobra Troopers. It's hard to say. But it is their little hidden thing that they're throwing. This shot looks awesome. This looks absolutely awesome. Anyone that's trying to set up figures holding two hands with a pistol, especially the classified figures, they're butterfly joints. They do have butterfly joints. They do not work properly. They do not go forward all that well. Where you look at a Oliver's figure, when they don't have any type of equipment on, then you can cross their hands over. If they have the equipment on, you're shit out of luck. It ain't happening. I don't care what anyone says. But this looks awesome. And you really got to find this not only in the right position, but you also got to find the right position of taking the shot, because I bet if you look straight at it, he is not actually looking over the pistol. It's different. So, and again, he's in a tunnel with the big M60. He's got the goggles. I like this. I like these goggles better than like what Valiverse is doing on the helmets. Unfortunately, I don't think those helmets and everything fit all that well. They tend to move around, and the night vision just doesn't seem to stay in place all that well. They looked really good when they got them on, but so I like this. They said they are universal, but let's be honest, some of the G.I. Joe heads are bigger than others. You're probably not getting that on Gung Ho. And I guess here he is, just like, I don't know. I hope he didn't just fire this gun because his hand would be burnt by the barrel. Yeah, dude, you know what? The only thing this figure needs are those flashlights to really light up. But people don't want that. That costs more money. And we heard about the has light. I don't need lights. I don't need it to light up. Sorry. All right. So here he is kind of reloading. And let's be honest, if you have a big giant M60 like that, that's not going to be a lot of bullets. So I guess that is why he has to ban Lyra bullets. Mr. Wonderful asked, it's Tunnel Rat. Action Face just answered him. This is Tunnel Rat. You're not a G.I. Joe fan, huh? We're going to find that out in a couple weeks when you're on the show. Yes. You know what? I am with you, Sean. Malibu should use the same plastic as Rock and Roll's helmet. Rock and Roll's helmet, for anyone that doesn't have it, it is a soft plastic. It is pliable, but it keeps its shape. It is really, really good. I'm really happy with that. I love it, to be honest. I think it's perfect. You don't have to have it on it, but once you put it on it, it looks really good. So, you're multi. It's okay. It's all right. I didn't know if you're a G.I. Joe fan or not. I know you like wrestling. You like Shawn Michaels, and you know that Shawn Michaels beat Bret the Hitman Hart. We all watched Bret tap out, crying like a baby in his own hold in Canada. I mean, I can't believe the guy would tap out in Canada in his own hold to the guy he hated, Shawn Michaels. But we saw it. Him yelling, I quit. Yes. Action says Rock and Roll is one of the main reasons I ordered that figure. Man, that'd be one of the main reasons I didn't order, because I don't really care for helmets, to be honest. But that helmet is spot on. All right. So I'm going to figure out where we're at here, because I don't want to get into the other stuff before I discuss what Brian Flynn talked about. Okay, perfect. So I want to discuss what Brian Flynn talked about. I meant to actually talk about it before. I don't read my own notes. I have issues. All right, so if you haven't watched it, go watch the Full Force Redacted. He has Brian Flynn on again. He even makes comment to how he's becoming a regular. And I had mentioned a couple weeks ago, Brian Flynn was on another show, and other YouTubers had also talked about him being on that show, but they were actually talking about because he was talking about announcing other figures or other figures. But someone had asked a question about series or wave 2 of the G.I. Joe Ultimates. Now, anyone saw the pictures of it, the faces are not painted. They do not look good. They look awful. And I don't understand the issue. Quickly, Allison says, 57 watching, 47 likes. Math doesn't add up. Remember, we had 150 likes for the stream. Lawrence is Glenda for Halloween. Also, we're up to 72. Listen, we have to have more likes than Batman have been announced during this stream. Come on, guys. Okay, so Tony, where are you? There you go. Hop on up. All right, say hi. Say hi to everyone. Hey, I love you too. Do you need to go outside? All right. Hold on. Let's call the girl. Oh, she's coming. All right. They all hear you. They all hear you. Yep. Everyone hears you. Anthony hears you. Matt hears you. Matthew hears you. Joey hears you. Everyone. Yes. I don't know what's harder to do is stream, kids or a dog. And in actuality, I wasn't supposed to have any kids here, so I didn't even know how I was going to handle Roman. So anyway, Ryan Flynn was on the Full Force Redacted. Brick, it is a healthy bark. It is a healthy bark to let you know that he is here. Listen, if you ever came over here, let me just tell you, He is honestly he's such a good dog. He's never been aggressive towards people, but he will jump on you. You need to know that you're in his house and that you love him. He's a wonderful dog. I love that dog. And I wasn't even supposed to have it. Maybe one day I'll tell you the story about the dog. If we have time, maybe I'll tell you how I ended up with him. So anyway. Okay, so Brian Foster says, because I see it applies to Brian Flynn. Like I said earlier, folks need to stop letting Brian off the hook about the QC issues. Brian said you can't even tell, and no fix will be coming. Hey, listen, I was trying to get there. I'm just long-winded, and I just fill time. An hour and a half. All right, so he's on the full force, right? And so Chris said he was thinking about asking him, but a lot of people kept saying you need to ask. Now I don't even know why. Chris had to say I was thinking about asking. This should have been the number one question, and it was the face is not being painted. And he talked about it. He said it wasn't supposed to be like that. And before COVID, we could be over there and we could see the production sets when they come out. And he goes, the reason why the plastic is just the color that it is so that if the face gets marked up or gets scratched, you wouldn't really notice. Well, that's bullshit. Because what if the hair what if the hat or the hair gets messed up? Then it looks like skin? No. So he said, when I got the figure, it looks absolutely wonderful. But yes, the face. And he goes, if you want to be nitpicky, yeah. But and he said, are we going to do anything about it? No, because the figure looks how it's supposed to. It looks wonderful. It's just the paint is, and you really can't notice. But that is Brian Flynn doing this. This is Brian Flynn saying, you paid $55 for these? Well, guess what? This is what you're getting. He talked about how in the past they have addressed some things and they've sent some things out. Clearly, he does not want to be on the hook for the amount of heads that he would have to replace because it's all of them. It is bullshit that he does stuff like this. No, this is for the Joes. So I don't know if you missed it. The Wave 2 of the Ultimates, the faces are not painted. And it stands out. Yes, the color of the plastic is somewhat a skin tone, but it's still not the color that it's supposed to be. And it's noticeable. The fact that he acts like, well, you really have to look to notice. No. You notice it in any picture. And Matthew O'Brien says here, they look terrible. And they do. They look terrible, especially Flint and Lady J. They look awful. And the worst part is, I've seen photos of Wave 1, and they look really good. They look like the animated series. If you like that, that's great. But him just giving the big middle finger and just saying, no, you know what? It looks good enough. But that's not what I spent $55 on. This is not a $20 figure. These are $55. The people gave him $55, and he sat on that money for what? 2 years? Now, I understand. I'm not going to argue that. That is the method that he does. I think it takes too long, but I'm also not going to debate that there was a pandemic. But that was him just giving 2 double middle fingers again for product that this is what we showed, but this is what we gave. But it's not our fault, man. I mean, it's the factory did it. Then he said some people are going to disagree. And the one, he said, he goes, there's going to be people on here that's going to believe everything I say. And then there's going to be people on here that no matter what I say, they're going to say I'm a liar. Well, unfortunately, I don't think you're lying about this. The factory made a mistake. It happens. The problem is your factories continue to make these same mistakes, and not just with the Joes. All right? I mean, the history of their QC issues outweigh anything that's in the G.I. Joe line right now. And Hasbro has a good amount. Hasbro also, you're paying much, much, much less for it. Again, you can't let them off the hook. Buddy, you just went outside, so you can't come in here acting like this. You just went outside. Go see Olivia. No. But him to just kind of push it to the side and act like, you know what? Hey, they still, you look at the face, they look really good. They look, okay, but they're not painted. They don't look how they're supposed to. But once again, that is Brian Flynn, and that is why, personally, I have an issue. I believe he pretty much takes everyone, not even as granted, he shits on them. He shits on them and says, hey, you know what? They're going to buy it again. And this goes back to a lot of what I said, where a lot of G.I. Joe collectors are not toy collectors. They see this animated action figures that are big, and there they are, and this is what they've always wanted, because there are people that believe that the figures are based after the cartoon. You know it's not, right? It's not based after the cartoon. But that's what people want. So if that's all they can get, they go, all right, well, you know what? It's fine. I'm okay with it. But it's that long history. So I had a Baldilocks really quick. Nice of you to join us. Check out his reviews. He always has stuff well before everyone else. Anyway, so I have an issue with that. And once again, he pulls this shit. He says he's not going to do anything about it. And to me, that's just a big middle finger. Double middle finger, man. And again, after Wave 1 came out, I was looking at him. I'm going, everything that I looked. Yeah, I still have an issue with the articulation. But if you're giving us, if you're giving people, I don't want to say us because I'm not collecting it. If you're giving people screen accurate cartoon figures, then cool. You know what? Cool. Do it. No big deal. You know what? Charge $55. If the paint's good, I say it about the Mythic Legions, man. Like, $55 seems a lot for something that doesn't have a lot of articulation, but it's the sculpt and the paint, and you never complain about that. So, the other thing that he mentioned, now, San Diego Comic-Con, they're going to be doing something again for G.I. Joe. And quickly, I want to, so everything's plastic collectibles and reviews. I haven't heard much good about Super 7 at all. No. And the thing is, their product has gone downhill. That's why, again, if you want to get Wave 1, Entertainment Earth has them all for $165. Use my code, you get 10% off. All right? So you're going to get the figures for like $150 or something. Shipped. And then free shipping. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, Entertainment Earth can't give them away. So on to something else. He talked about, they always redesign their place for San Diego Comic-Con, and they're doing another Joe, but this is another Cobra takeover thing, right? But Chris did get him discussing vehicles, and he said they are going to do vehicles, but they're not going to be doing classified scale or ultimate scale. And he said the best thing about them is you can use them with the reaction figures or any 4-inch figure. So, as much as I hate it, I'm really interested to see what vehicles he does, because he will do things that you haven't done. He did not the Blind Master, the Snake Eyes and the Woodsman, which I did buy, way too much, but I did buy it because it's something that's never been done before. The figure's never been done before. So hopefully for us 4-inch collectors, 1/18 collectors, he'll give us something that's really cool, something that we enjoy, something different. I don't want another Hiss tank or an Awe Striker. I don't care, unless it's that Hiss tank that's like has like the 2 guns on it, the 2 turrets. But it's going to be something cartoon accurate. And the cartoon had a lot of cool things, to be honest. All right, so that's my Super 7 Brian Flynn rant. Back to the slides. All right. So we're starting to get into the HasLab here. And Lenny has shown off this Cobra Commander. I gotta say, I'm not sure I'm gonna open it. I still have this hope that they're going to put it on a card like Sunman, like Mattel Creations does with a lot of their stuff, where you can just slide it in and out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get myself to tear this off the card, because this is going to be the one that's worth money. And not that I look to sell my stuff, but we know that a non-Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander one is coming. I just wish they'd make it so we could pull it off there. Cobra Law says they should have a mirror chrome on his face shield. Yeah, people don't want to do the vac metal. It's just, yeah. Look, highly articulated says right away, I will be selling my my Hiss Cobra Commanders. You have multiples coming? Is that you have multiples? This figure is going to get you $100 easily, if not more. Again, because it's going to be carded, so you're going to have people that are going to open it up. And again, if people want to turn around and sell the HasLab and for twice as much, I have no problem with it. I do not consider any of that scalping, because anyone could purchase it. Now, if you don't have the money, obviously you can't. But everyone has the exact same option to pick it up, which is awesome. So there is no scalping a HasLab. It's on you if you can't. And again, I don't want to say it's on you if you can't afford it, because $300 is a lot of money. $350 if it would have been that Hell Charger. Ooh, let's stop and say hi to Rachel. I know I've seen you in so many other chats. I've never seen you here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Yep, this one is staying carded. You know, if I didn't know that we were getting another Cobra Commander classified, I might, but I just think this one might have to just stay on card and sit right back here for eternity. To my kids sell it. I don't know. But I do want this Cobra Commander. Like, I want this Cobra Commander in our classified scale. All right. So this is where we hit the HasLab portion of the show. Mr. Popinski, thank you very much. He sent this to me. So, everyone, show me on the doll where Glenda hurt you. I have not got to talk about the Glenda reveal. The next tier that so many people were mad about. And I've actually seen people backing out, because you see the numbers sometimes go back a little. It's not going back that much. If you really wanted to, send a message about the HasLab, you should have done it early, like people did with the Hell Charger. But unfortunately, they didn't have a group of YouTubers that railed against the Hell Charger to tell them not to order it. And yes, I don't care what anyone says. People are influenced by other YouTubers, and they don't want to be ones to say, oh, I backed it. There are big YouTubers that did back it, and then they backed out because they didn't want to be considered shills. Let me tell you about the Glenda thing. Well, first off, let me say, I don't expect everyone to know who Glenda is. All right? She's a deep cut. A very deep cut. But rather than going on YouTube, or not on YouTube, going on Facebook or Instagram and bitching and asking, they have this crazy thing. I'm going to pull it up really quick here. Let's pull this up here. Okay, we'll add this to the stream. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen this before. This thing called Google. And let's just type in G.I. Joe Glenda. Oh my God! She fucking shows up. Why do you have to go on every damn G.I. Joe page and Instagram and ask who she is? Do a fucking Google. It's like talking to my kids who are sitting there with a goddamn fucking phone in their hand and asking me what something is, and I'm going, I don't know, Google it. Oh, I'm too tired. What do you mean you're too tired? You got the phone in your hand. Just do it. Anyway, this actually wasn't planned. This is when I got found my rants. So anyway, back to Mr. Popinski, who, again, he sent this to me not... Yes, you're Roman. He's downstairs barking at something. So anyway, Mr. Popinski sent this to me. Again, we have seen so many people so mad about this. And I don't understand why people are mad about this. First off, this is the perfect tier unlock. And that is because it is a deep cut and a figure that you don't have to have in the main line. You don't have to have it in the main line. Let's get to her, actually. So you don't have to have her in the main line. She's a helicopter pilot and was a helicopter pilot before they showed this. Now, this is an issue. Again, back to Emily. Everyone goes off and says Emily is pushing her agenda on us. She is pushing her woke agenda. So I got to ask you this. All you people that blame Emily for this, right? What is it? Does Emily know nothing about G.I. Joe and shouldn't be on the brand? Or does she know way too fucking much that she knows these deep cuts and then she's going to push it? What is it? So she knows nothing or she knows too much. What is it? Because I can't figure it out. So this is Emily pushing her woke agenda. Of course, this is a figure that was around well before probably Emily's parents even knew each other. Just gathering by what I believe her age range is, right? So, again, if you don't like the figure, you don't like the figure. But if you're already back to HasLab, what does it matter? Turn around and sell the figure for $50 or $100 and make back some of your money. No, the doggo does not. The doggo hates Glenda's agenda. No. If Glenda was named Cat, then probably. All right? I like that you guys can all hear him though. Jeffries, you're right. This figure was out in the 80s. So let's just think about this. Now we're gonna get off the rant. We're gonna look at this in a second. So she's a helicopter pilot. So it gives you the incentive if you want to buy multiple, that you can have a second helicopter pilot. Now, don't get me wrong, it's G.I. Joe. Everyone, and gung-ho flew fucking Sky Strikers and Dragonflies and drove tanks and everything, right? Everyone was cross-trained, all right? It's a wonderful thing. I don't know how you can be cross-trained and all that stuff. Yeah, man, he's going nuts. He sees something out there, and I don't want my daughter to let him out. Maybe a skunk or something. So anyway, people are upset. They want to back out. Now, I don't understand why you're backing out. Obviously, the $275 is supposed to be if you think it is worth it for the for the initial showing. I think it was. Wild Bill, Dragonfly. So you get a tier of an unlock of a figure that we don't have, but you know we're going to be getting Ripcord. But then you see this figure, and God forbid it's a female figure, which, again, I had the idea to do badass women, and this kind of was like, you know what? This is the perfect week to do badass women. Why some work and some don't. So anyway, when you see people backing out, when you see like goddamn crybabies, and you are, you guys are fucking crybabies if you're crying about this as an unlock. It is a figure that is known. It is not a figure you have to have. It's a helicopter pilot. Oh, and you know what it is? It's a Scarlet. Clearly, we're going to be getting the repaint Scarlet. And also, when you look at the hair, it has two different hairstyles and the helmet. What this also says is, guess what? The retro Scarlet will probably have two hair pieces. Short hair and long ponytail. Also, it comes with Flash's weapons. I know people have pointed out that Glenda came with that. Glenda came with the gun and they used the cord as the strap. I don't believe that she actually came with the backpack. Cobra, goddamn, I'm with you. She is pretty hot. I just hope she comes out looking this hot too. But again, there's so much that just had pissed me off about this. And this, and again, it goes back to my whole thing, like, G.I. Joe collectors are cheap. Not all of them, but yes. They're not going to buy a $125 vamp. They're going to wait till it goes on sale. We're going to see it. We're going to see it soon. I promise you. All right. So let's actually get into this figure, because I think the figure looks absolutely wonderful. She has a headset, 2 hair pieces, and they are 2 different hair pieces. The helmet, which obviously if you take the hair piece off, you're going to put the helmet on there, so it's going to fit nicely. Flash's gun and backpack, a pistol, and Scarlet's body, including the throwing stars on the side. Oh, I've also heard people complain and make jokes about the pillow around her neck. Till they got called out and shown that this is actually what pilots wear in real life. Once again, just it blows my mind how some people have acted over this whole thing. And I guess I'm no better because I'm here ranting and raving about it, just losing it. And the chat's going like crazy, and I'm not really even watching any of it. Though I don't think most of the people that are watching me live here, most of you guys in the chat, I don't think most of you are these people that I'm reading. But I'm watching people try and talk about how it's going down. Let me take a quick look and see where we're at. Issue or not understanding is, so they're at 13,656. People keep looking at it and pointing out how it's not doing as well as the Hiss. The Hiss was the anomaly. That is not the norm. Not with any of the HasLabs. Not with any of these I can't think of the name. You guys got me riled up, and I can't fucking think right now. Not you guys, but crowdfunders. All right. What happened with Skeletron, right? That was the anomaly. Like, your crowdfunders don't blow through everything. They very rarely do that. The Hiss Tank people wanted that. They wanted to see what it was. The other thing is, and I mentioned this before, if you're one of those idiots that says, I'm going to wait to see what the last tier is before I back it. Listen, you don't get charged until the last day. So if you really want to see what the last tier is, back it now, find out what it is. If you don't like it, then just withdraw your backing. It's that simple. But then you would see everything that is in there. But again, I don't think people really want to put their money, where their mouths are. And I had one guy when I mentioned that to him, and I said, hey, if you don't have the money, that's okay. I wasn't saying he doesn't. He said, I'm an adult, $275 isn't a lot of money. Dude, no, actually $275 is a lot of money for a toy. I don't care what anyone says. It is a lot of money for a toy. Or else they'd make a whole bunch of vehicles for $300 and no one would care. All right. As for the actual figure, I think it looks awesome. And again, it is exactly what I think that we should have. So now I want to talk about what I think is going to be the final tier. Now, Matthew is convinced that it is Hawk. And a lot of other people are too. Mr. Popinski had pointed something out, and some other people had also pointed this out, is that they are really clear about saying new recruits. And I think that is really pointing at what we're going to get. General Hawk is coming out. Well, I'm sorry, Hawk is coming out. We don't know if it's General Hawk. We don't know if it's Colonel Hawk. I cannot see them putting Colonel Hawk in this because you take one of the OG figures from the original line and you put it behind a paywall. I don't think it's going to be Airborne either anymore. So, a lot of people have mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's Glenda. So, if anyone didn't realize, this is what she actually looked like. She was real, guys. Again, I'm talking to the people that are going to watch this on the replay. They're going to, why is this guy so worked up? And I'll probably have people make comments and stuff. And then you see how they did Scarlet in the same OG. Again, Scarlet was done because of the HasLab Scarlet was done because of this. I want to say hi to Ted at Darklaw. Listen, if you are online shopping, if you don't have a place that you pick up stuff in your own toy store, check out Hella Dope Toys. I'd like to bring them up, but my StreamYard sucks. And look over here. I don't know. Why is he move so? So, listen, check out Hella Dope Toys if you are looking for, if you're shopping online. All right? They're wonderful. No, I do not think it's going to be Crazy Legs. I think that would also bother people too. So, I think we are kind of on the right track here. It'd be nice if this thing ever comes off. So it's showing here, it says Crazy Legs. Like Jeffrey Smith's came up, but I'm looking at mine and it's not coming up. I absolutely hate that. And you are very welcome. You guys are wonderful. And again, I enjoy getting on your streams and bullshitting and causing trouble with people. And you guys just allow it. Okay, Rachel, So Rachel has nailed who I think it's going to be. Buddy, not right now. Hold on, let me get... Okay. So I think, Rachel, I'm with you on this. So they did the same thing with the Sky Striker. And Colbert seems like the perfect character. It's already on the Dragonfly. Now they will be correcting this where Wild Bill will be in the actual pilot seat, which sits behind him. But since no one knows who Colbert is, what he really looks like, what I believe we're going to see is it's going to be Colbert, and he's going to look like Airborne, have the whole Airborne deco painted differently so they can do an Airborne for us. But give us, I can always say that wasn't Airborne in the back, that was Colbert in the back. It works out. Then you have your Scarlet that they're going to reuse the mold already. You have Ripcord, and then you're going to have Airborne. But you're not going to put Airborne behind the paywall. I wanted Airborne in this, but I don't think that they're going to do that behind the paywall. I think Wild Bill is going to be the only main character. So I think what you're going to get is a Colbert that looks like Airborne, obviously a different head, but all the same, same body, slightly different colors, and then they can give us the Airborne buck. And then we're good. Just kind of what I'm thinking here. I could be completely wrong because I have no inside knowledge, I can tell you that. But I think it's probably the best thing that they can do without pissing off more people. Because people love to get pissed off. So, Sky Patrol Jeremy says it's Quarrel or Canary Ann for tier 3. So, and Matthew is convinced that it is. I hate that this thing moves super slow right now. Man, this thing is moving so slow. I seem to be freezing up for some stupid reason. I have nothing else going on in this. He says, F that airborne. It'll be jetpack like the promo video showed. I don't think it's going to be, because Hawk is coming. I don't need multiple Hawks. Rachel says they could also make a female flight suit, just like they did the female Hiss Gunner. Possibly, but I think because they've already given us the female, I don't think that they're going to go with 2 females. Again, it seems like the G.I. Joe community. I mean, I don't know, like, if their manhood got insulted when they threw a female in there, because half of the reason that we're going to talk about badass females, it has to do with the fact that G.I. Joe had a couple, more than a couple, when we were kids. And I never thought, like, I'm not playing with Scarlet, I'm not playing with Baroness. But I don't think they're going to go to. It's October Guard is not coming. As much as I would love to see October Guard, it is not coming because, well, Russia. I mentioned this one too, and Matthew said, "No, you're stupid," and I went, "That was really mean of you." I thought Starduster too, because again, you can have. I mean, I was convinced at first that we were going to get a Night Force Steel Core, and the only reason why is because you saw that they're going really heavy with the Night Force, and you really kind of want an army builder. But I think that when you look at Ripcord, if you have multiples, you pop the head off and put someone else's head on, and now you just have another Halo jumper. You know. And since they're completely covered up, you could use Stalker. You know, it doesn't really matter as long as it's someone that is around that size right there. I want to say hi to Toombs. I saw him a little bit earlier, but I didn't say anything. I was just read my OG and Wild Bill. Still, I'm hoping to buy someone's extra Wild Bill when they eventually get shipped. See, that's what's going to happen. If someone buys multiple, they'll have that Wild Bill to sell. And then you'll also have the Glenda. You know, no one wants Glenda. I think Glenda looks awesome. I can't wait to get the Scarlet pre-paint. I like that, the pre-paint. All right. Anything else anyone have to say about the HasLab before we get into Badass Girl? See, it happened again. We were sitting at 45 minutes. I'm like, I'm getting through this so fast. And then here we are. Cruising along over 2 hours, and we haven't even hit the topic. And I'm hoping this topic goes pretty well. So I saw Glenda pre-paint Scarlet, and I thought you said Glenda pregnant. And I'm like, that would be a pretty badass figure. A Scarlet that's pregnant in the back of the helicopter. Now, would it come out all face all messed up? Come out with the shield already? Because obviously it would be Snake Eyes' kid, right? Because you know that Scarlet was with Snake Eyes, not Duke, right? All right. So let's see. Highly Articulated says, stepped away for a minute. Did anyone say version 1 Hawk on a retro card? Okay, they're not going to be on a retro card. She did say they're going to be boxed, classified figures in all numbers. So there won't be any retro cards. I said it won't be Hawk because people want the original figures from the 82 line. I don't think they would put that behind the paywall like this. I think that would really really set people off. And since they've already announced that Hawk is coming, I just don't see it. I just don't see it being that. Like I said, I truly do believe that it's going to be Cobra, but his deco is going to look like Airborne. Different head. This way, when you look at the box art, you can say, okay, well, you know what? That wasn't Airborne. That was Cobra, who looked like an Airborne, painted differently. And then you have your buck to do Airborne. Now you have Scarlet Buck, an Airborne Buck, and a Ripcord Buck that we all know we're going to get. So, all right. 63 watch, and we got 63 likes, right? You got to have at least 63 likes. 65 now. All right. So let's get into the topic. And I want to talk about badass women. And this, so I forget who it was, but there was someone that had mentioned something about I should do the topic of girl toys versus boy toys, right? Because there is a difference between girls' toys and boys' toys. Just is. I don't know why people get so mad about it. It doesn't mean boys can't play with girls' toys or girls can't play with boys' toys. I don't understand. But there is a difference between girls' toys and boys' toys. And then, I wrote it down, and then I have topics written down. And I thought of like badass women and why some work in pop culture and in comics and in movies, different things like that. But why did they work better, in my opinion, a lot, mostly in the 80s rather than now? And let's talk about it. So, and I'm not going to say this is the earliest one, but you remember Batgirl, right? Batman 66. No one really ever questioned her. I mean, everyone thought she was hot. I mean, this was like the beginning of a kink. There's no doubt about that. But no one really ever questioned her, right? There wasn't a backstory that she had to prove something, right? She wasn't proving that she was held down by the man, by men. Like, she was just a badass. No one really questioned how much smaller she was, that she was able to fight these badasses, fight these bigger guys. And I think a lot has to do with they didn't create some sort of. They didn't have to create some sort of narrative on why she was just a badass. She was the commissioner's daughter. She went out and she did this stuff, and that was awesome. she can give me COVID anytime. Oh, man. That's comment of the night so far. Although I like this one here. Airborne pre-paint could work. Good cost. I like it when people give me credit. But you looked at her and like there wasn't a backstory. They didn't have to tell you how she was like, she couldn't get a job and she had it like, all right, she was just a badass. And she wasn't even one that I thought of originally. I think because when I saw The Flash, there's a lot of things that you see in the the dome that he's in. It's really odd, but and I was like, this is one that I just remember right away. And I did think of Batgirl. Allison says, now Allison, she loves female characters for many reasons. In the original Batman comics, she featured in the storyline was often Batman and Robin trying to convince her girls shouldn't be out fighting crime, and she did it anyway. And it's the comics. I don't know. I'm not going to disagree with you. Let's play a game, children. What does your mommy do, and where do you come from? It's what does your daddy do? My daddy is a gynecologist, and he looks at vaginas all day. You guys seen Kindergarten Cop, right? All right. So other than she was super hot, which I think most of these that I will show, but I never thought anything about it. It never dawned on me. It didn't dawn on, like, it didn't matter. Like, I never thought of her as a girl and think, hey, girls can't do that, And the next was Wonder Woman. Now, we all thought Linda Carter was amazing. Look at Linda Carter. She's not even like, she looks awesome. She's not buff. She's not beefy. Um, you know, uh, it's just like, the story was she was just this badass woman. I don't remember there ever being this backstory that like she was told she couldn't do things. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I remember watching the show. And again, this is going back to the 70s, right? And if we're going back to the 70s, why in the 70s could they do this? 66, the 60s, and the 70s. But nowadays, it doesn't work. Everything has to be pushed down our throats. Everything has to be agenda driven, right? But Wonder Woman. Now, this is just the I guess I should have gone down the kindergarten cop. I should have gone down the kindergarten cop road, because now I'm reading all these, all the comments here. But Wonder Woman, even in the comics, like, she is an Amazonian, right? She comes from a race of women. So you really don't think that she has to prove herself to men. She's Zeus's daughter, different things like that. Let's get to this woman. Now, just look at her bad. Look at that face. This girl was tiny, all right? And even though George Lucas thought she had to lose even more weight to be even tinier, you never questioned that she wasn't a badass, that she couldn't take care of herself. There didn't need to be a backstory. There was more than enough backstory that she watched her planet get blown up. But she was already a badass before then. But let's be honest. Man, woman, black, white, Cuban, Asian, it doesn't matter. You see your planet get blown up, you're going to be pretty pissed off. That's not really a smashing down the walls for it. Quickly here, the list says, I'm sorry, my mummy pilot, the dragonfly, and always get mistaken by Duke, being called Scarlet, and Snake Eyes gets all moody. I thought you were talking about Travis at first, but... So this is like the original badass, right? I mean, one of the original female badasses. She's pissy. It doesn't have to be explained that she wasn't taken serious. She's just out there kicking ass. So again, I think of her and through all the movies. I mean, even when she's in a metal bikini, that they talk about how Boba Fett could see right down and see everything. Good job, Boba Fett. Say hi to Chaz the Guru. Nice of you to join us. If you're not following Chaz on Instagram, he does the best memes, and he beats a dead horse better than anyone. He also doesn't like Viper Island. But again, just a complete badass. And I don't think there's any questioning. But you know what? You never saw her fight hand to hand. Like, there was never any hand to hand combat with her, right? And in the original trilogy, she is the only person that ever gets shot with that little round blaster for some reason. Yeah, she was a badass in all of them. And she knew how to talk to little fluffy little teddy bears. All right. So Sigourney Weaver. Now, I know we've heard people think, if I remember correctly, it was the second girl that played Mystique. What was her name? I can't think of her name for the life of me. That said, because of her, like, she was the first real female character, like tough character, because of her role in the Hunger Games. She kind of forgot about a few. I love the Care Bears. Grumpy and Care-a-Lot and the Care Bear cousins. I think I went over that just the other day. Yes, Jeffrey, set to stun. That was like, yeah. So you have Ripley. I don't think anyone ever questioned that Ripley was a female, right? She came out. She wasn't even like a Marine. She ended up being thrown in this position. Yes, Jennifer Lawrence. How can I remember? How can I forget her last name? She came out and said that she was like the first like female heroine. She kind of forgot a few. But you have Ripley here, and no one ever questioned like, oh my god, she's a female. I don't think she could beat up an alien. I don't have time believing anyone could beat those aliens. I mean, their acid just, their blood was acid and just burned through everything. So you looked at her, and no one really cared about the backstory. There's a key to not pushing the backstory here. And in the end, like, everyone wants to see her return. Like, anytime there's an alien movie, they want to see Sigourney Weaver return. The same as every Predator movie, you want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger return, and he never does. And people don't want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger because he lifted weights. They want to see him because of who he is. And then you get to her, Sarah Connor, the perfect example of a female badass. She wasn't beaten by men. She wasn't held down by men. She was told what the future was, and that her son was going to be the leader of the resistance. She learned how to handle all this stuff. It wasn't a narrative. She was just this badass, and no one questioned it. No one ever said, "Oh, I can't believe that." She went off the deep end a little. I still wish I could get that fake card reader that like John Connor had, that she could just break into any ATM. But yeah, Anthony says she stepped up hardcore, like any parent would. Mother or father, they should all step up when you find out that your son is going to be the leader of the free world. And the resistance, well, I'm not the free world, because it's not long the free world. The resistance, because there is no free world. But again, we never questioned it. I never once questioned, how can I believe that this woman here could fight robots? Not any more than I couldn't believe that, Reese couldn't fight robots. I mean, it was pretty much, I didn't even go there. I did not even throw in Buffy. I really should have thrown in Buffy, considering I love that show. Buffy's the perfect example. Another perfect example of badass females. Like, their whole thing is that it's a female, one female every generation is meant to protect and fight against vampires. And you never question, why does it have to be, why does it have to be a female? I didn't care. No one cared. Things become this. When you have to push a narrative, that's when I think you stop seeing badass women. And it's not just women, to be honest. There's other narratives. But we're talking about women in this one. So let's get to Scarlet. Not Glenda, because I don't want to upset anyone. Not Glenda. Talking Scarlet. This is Glenda before Glenda was Glenda. I don't really remember too much of her backstory. This woman was so badass that she went into a firefight with a crossbow and her jazzercise outfit. I mean, let's be honest, dude. If you're that badass that you can wear your jazzercise outfit into the field, and the guy next to you can't speak and has an Uzi, you guys are pretty badass. You got a crossbow, some throwing stars. You got this little gun up here. Now I'm pointing. You can't see that I'm pointing to. I always love the little gun. But G.I. Joe made some wonderful, wonderful female characters, right? That just, I never questioned anything about Scarlet. Playing with Scarlet, I never thought, I can't play with Scarlet. She's a female. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with, like, I didn't have to hear all the stuff, you know? But G.I. Joe didn't stop with just Scarlet. You had the Baroness, who was just a badass woman. You know? Had Destro pretty much wrapped around, you know, her little pinky. There is a shot where Serpentor has her on the his tanks. I'm not gonna lie. I recreated that with action figures, but as a kid, you were kind of like, that's kind of hot. But again, like, they just put figures in lines, and you didn't really think too much of it. You know what's funny is I remember seeing Kill Bill, and I really liked it, but I didn't like Kill Bill Part 2. If that makes any sense. You know what? There's a perfect example too. The gender swap for Battlestar Galactica. Okay, I had a hard issue. I had a hard time with when I first started watching it, and because Starbuck was Spaceman. When you watch Battlestar Galactica, she fits that role so perfectly. She comes off as tough. You don't question whether or not she is just part of the guys. She is fighting with the guys. She's fighting with everyone. And it's completely believable for that universe. I guess that's the best way to put it, right? Completely believable for that universe. At first, I was like, why would you do that? You don't need to gender swap. But in all honesty, when I think back to the original Battlestar Galactica, I don't think there was such a huge connection to anything. Not like where someone feels the need to change certain, you know, colors of established characters or change sexes of different characters just because they need to push something down the agenda. So, you know, you have the Baroness, and then of course you also have Lady J. And again, there's so many. I'm seeing people talk about Jinx here. There's obviously Zorana, Cover Girl, who is, you know, a model, but is also this mechanic that's what she really, you know, was into. So there's so many. G.I. Joe did it absolutely wonderful. And you know what? Us as, I can't speak for everyone, but I don't remember any of my friends, which were mostly boys playing with these toys, having an issue with these female characters. But it wasn't just G.I. Joe, man. Teela. She was just a badass. I don't remember anyone ever saying I can't play with Teela, right? I mean, we all thought she was way more of a badass than Adam was. I would say she was probably one of the top 4 people in Eternia. He-Man, Man-at-Arms. She's probably number 3, right? Of the badass society. And again, I don't know what her background was. Was there a background? I'm sure there was some sort of background. But you have Evil Lynn. And look at that. Like, that is just evil. Like, that is... and that face right there just says evil right there, you know? I'm trying to read what some of you guys are saying here. Well, I'm okay. So you didn't want to hear what I have to say about Red Sonja. I own the Conan movies. I can't say I've ever sat down and watched. So I do not want to say anything. Jeffrey Smith, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Quickly, let's see. I think it's in wrestling figure fans. Okay. I didn't even think about Xena. Xena's another perfect example. Like Hercules, you knew who Hercules was, but you saw Xena, and Xena was just this badass that you never questioned because they didn't make it so she couldn't beat up Hercules. No one's supposed to be able to beat up Hercules. He's Hercules. But also in our line, like Chitara. No one questioned how sweet Chitara was, right? No one questioned when she was like beating the crap out of all the bad guys. And again, I didn't know her backstory, so I didn't care. And again, I think that's where, in this day and age, where they want to push agendas that they want to make someone a badass, but they have to build them up. You don't always need that. And then there's this one. You guys all remember when you found out that Samus was a female, right? Did anyone say, never playing that game again? No, everyone wanted to play it. Everyone wanted to beat it, was it twice or 3 times? To where Samus finally took off the head. Not the head, took off the helmet, right? And Samus has survived. And people love Samus as a badass female. And I don't know what her backstory is, and I don't care. I've seen lots of movies. There's just lots of movies I haven't seen. Hey, Kevin Sorbo is a big mother. He just wasn't as muscular as you would think, considering Arnold Schwarzenegger played Hercules. Yeah, Samus is female. I mean, I think you beat it twice, and that was talking the old Nintendo 8-bit. All right, so technically it could be anything. But I always think back to this one, and like no one cared. And here's one of the newer ones. And now, this is one that kind of contradicts things that I had said, but if you watch The Walking Dead, you know what a badass Carol becomes. But I don't think Carol became a badass because of... The story wasn't so much like she was pushed around. She was an abused woman. I believe the Punisher finally ends up killing her husband or something, right? But he beats her so much, right? She's just this frail woman, and then ends up in this apocalyptic world. And then when her daughter is... I'm sorry if I'm spoiling The Walking Dead for anyone. When you find out at the end of season 2, I think, that her daughter had been in the barn the whole time. And when she comes out, like, that's when something's just broke. Yes, just look at the flowers. No one's ever going to forget that. But it's believable. There's a believability to it. That you get this badass. You know, she came through all this stuff, but it wasn't like pushed into it. You know what? I didn't read the comic, but you couldn't. Again, I have a lot to say about The Walking Dead. I liked it. I loved this how people would end up being. I really do believe people would end up being shitheads in the end, rather than trying to help each other. But she became like a true badass. So did Lori. No, she was badass before she was. Watch her son or watch her husband get his head bashed in. Um, and then there's this woman. Now, you look at Black Widow, you look at Scarlett Johansson. She does not look that intimidating. But in Iron Man 2, like everything that you see, it's believable. The look that she has, the superhero drop that she ends up having. So they do still make some really badass females in the movies, in the TV shows. But I don't think we see them nearly as much as we could because so many people want to push an agenda. But I don't think there's anyone that looks at Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow and you're like, yeah, that doesn't work. I just can't believe it. It's unbelievable. So let's talk about some that just don't work. So we talked about one Batgirl. Let's talk about this Batwoman and why this does not work. It was funny. I just saw a preview for it. That's not it. I'll probably watch it to see. I'm interested how they're going to do that, considering those two. Well, how Maggie hates him. Not that you can blame her. No, I have not. I have not. Watch out. So anyway, I watched the first season of Batwoman with the other Batgirl, and it was okay. It kind of made sense. They pushed that she was gay. I'm fine with that. It actually worked for the story because one of the people that she was not at odds with, but there was a strenuous relation, was, her ex-girlfriend who worked for her dad. But then when she decided not to come back, they had to do another Batgirl and work out how she would find out. And of course, they wanted to appease people and decided that they had to do a black Batgirl. But that wasn't good enough. She also had to be gay. Now, why you had to push this narrative again, I don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But they did. And this is why it bombed. Because you were more concerned with pushing the agenda of having a black Batgirl and her be gay when you've already had the Batgirl right before who was gay, but it actually kind of worked in the story. Yeah, I know she doesn't. Maggie doesn't hate Negan anymore. They came to an agreement of sorts and final. I remember, but I mean, she watched. I mean, he bashed her husband's head in. I don't care how long the apocalypse goes on. It's kind of hard to, forgive and forget. And then let's go to this other awful Star Wars female. Now we went from one side of the awesome badass Star Wars woman to Rey, who everything about her made no sense, including the way she runs. Did anyone ever watch her run? Why am I the only one that, when I pointed out, when you see her running in that movie, it looks like she's never run a day in her life. Like she doesn't know how to run. She was awful. It was unbelievable. There was no way she was going to be a badass. But they definitely tried to make it. And I mean, the movie was awful. And I don't want to put down the actress because anyone would have sucked in that movie. Considering we saw some really good actors inside it. That sucked. But you go from one badass Star Wars. And the worst thing about it is the person that wants to push women being empowered completely flopped. And again, there is too much of an agenda pushed, where rather than her just being a badass, but she just learns things for no reason because she has a vagina, I guess. I don't know. Now, I like Supergirl, and I didn't even hate her sister, but they did the same thing with her. They wanted to make it so it's like, all right, well, you know what? She's gonna be badass, so we got to make her gay, and we got to cut her hair. She's got to be short hair. Like, if you can fit any more stereotypes, why couldn't she just be a badass that worked for a specific, a specific company? But it had to do all this. Supergirl was awesome. She's hot. I like the outfit. I like the outfit more if it was over there. I'm not gonna lie. But again, I think you missed the mark. You look at these old 80s and it was just like, we didn't have to explain why these characters were badasses, or the character arc made sense. And the last one is, when this girl became one of the Canaries, it was so unbelievable because she made no sense. Now, her sister, who was smoking hot, I forget what her name is. She was dead, came back, dead. I don't know, you know how it is. Like, no one ever dies in superhero movies. She was the white canary, the black canary. Then this one became a canary. She was awesome. Awful. And she has like a big head. Her eyes are like far apart. She's like weird. I don't know. But she's kind of cute. Well, yes, Murray Hill. Perfect example. Let's get rid of that. Murray Hill, perfect example. But I didn't have a backstory. Like, you didn't have to tell me why. Like, she was part of this stuff. Okay, so I don't mind having gay heroes. I just hate that they have a certain look. Here's my thing about gay heroes, and I don't want to say, hold on, I want to say what Action Fake said before. You already said it, Lawrence. They focus too much on the agenda and not just give us a strong character that happens to be female. Exactly. Okay, I have no problem with gay characters in anything. I will say this again. I don't need my characters to be straight or gay, unless if it works in the storyline. They were determined to make gay characters in Star Wars. They really wanted to push it. Okay. Yes. Oops. Katie Lotz is hot. Okay. So I'm gonna say one. So in Supergirl, when they came out with the first transgender superhero, and they really they plastered it all over. She made the first transgender superhero. I didn't care. I said, if it works for the story, then great. I don't need to know if my heroes are gay or straight unless if it fits the story. So they have a transgender superhero. Whatever. But the way that it worked was Brainiac 8 or 9, whatever Brainiac was in there, he was this outcast. They end up having this relationship. He makes it sound, he basically tells her, like, hey, you can never understand how I feel. But because of the whole story where she was born a man, and then she had a younger sister that was born. And in their culture or whatever it is, some sort of power gets handed down to the first daughter. But because she transitioned into a female, she got the powers and her sister resented her for it. So the whole character arc of those two together was she understood where he stands as this outsider and people hating him living here on Earth. And I went, that works. You didn't constantly push. There was a character arc that she was transgender. It worked for the story and their relationship. And I went, okay, that worked. But when people, when Kathleen Kennedy wants to put a gay couple in Star Wars, I'll say it again. There's two couples in Star Wars that I care about. Han and Leia, and Anakin and Padme. I don't care about any of the other ones. On Supergirl. So in Supergirl, Brainiac is on it. In like the third or fourth season, I forget what her name is. She's transgender in real life. If that's what you're talking about. But again, if it pushes if it makes the story better, then awesome. All right, but for some odd reason, all those CW, like, okay, so in Supergirl's adopted sister that I showed you earlier, she turns out that she's gay. Whatever. Why did she have to be gay? Well, then Jimmy Olsen, who they did a race swap, he became black. And I was actually fine with it because I don't think Jimmy Olsen to me is that big of a character in that, I know who Jimmy Olsen is, but then his sister just also happens to be gay. And they're all like, they were all friends. Like, why? I don't need them to have a relationship together. There is no reason for it. To me, it doesn't help the storyline. So, again, I don't care if someone's straight or gay it's a TV show that I'm watching. How does it progress the story? Yeah, you can say Luke and Mary J, but I mean, I don't read the books. And clearly that didn't happen because the sequel trilogy sucked. But I knew that was going to come up. But Lilith, you're right. Like, they tend to pigeonhole characters that are gay into being a total stereotype. Going back to the Arrowverse, the one guy is one of the guys that does all of it was the Arrowverse. The one tech guy, he's gay, right? That's cool. He's gay. Like, that's just it. Like, okay, he has a boyfriend, whatever. He has but it's never pushed. I don't remember it ever being a storyline. The Captain in the Flash, the police captain, he's gay. He has a husband or a boyfriend, right? They just, he talks about him, right? But it's not pushed. I don't remember. It was like, all right, well, it's cool. You can just make a character gay, but when you push it, and I think they do that with these female leads that they want to make badasses. And all you have to do is go back to Scarlet. All you have to do is go back to what Stanley said about the X-Men. And he said, I just wanted superheroes and I didn't want to have an origin story. So they were just born mutants. Oh, okay. Well, eventually you went back and you saw different iterations of how they were created, how they got their powers, things like that, right? But again, I don't need that type of story. And I think that the badass women that they want to push today suffer because of that. And unfortunately, I mean, it seems like it's always the same women that do it. Lesbians are more. The lesbians are more attractive than beers and beards. Okay, I get that. We don't need new gay. We don't need new gay characters. We have existing gay Marvel and North Star, but decided to turn Iceman. Exactly. So like stuff about stuff like that where, and I mean, how many times have we seen? I mean, I've read it numerous times where they talk how they're doing a race swap of a known character. I don't care if you want to take a relatively unknown character, one that doesn't have this established 50 years, right? But I've watched and I've read where they want to make a prominent white character black. And you read the comments and you see the black people reading it, they're like writing, and they're like, we don't want a race swap. We just make us a good black character to begin with. And it's like, exactly. I don't want Blade to be white because, all right, well, we need to do something about it. I don't want Black Panther to be white. All right? I don't want Storm to be a guy. I don't want these things. You created, Weapon 20 or X-23. She's a clone of Wolverine. But you didn't make Wolverine a female, right? You made a clone of it because, again, comics, you can just clone people. And again, as long as there's a story that pushes it, I'm good with it. But it seems like there's just so much now. And again, I think I don't think we have, and there are some, we just don't have the same badass women that we had back in the day. That's it. I find it strange. A lot of redhead characters are swapped and changed. So there's one of those little videos that went out, and it was like people. It was. They were talking, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, like all the gingers are being turned black," and they were talking in like a black podcast, and the guy says rambling and naming off a whole bunch of them, and he's like, holy crap, like I didn't even realize it. Like Jimmy Olsen, he was a redhead. They made him black. Ariel. It's funny because I don't know why there's so many. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, you just saw the gingers are being. Yeah, you saw that. Like it's hilarious because like you don't even think about it. It's like, oh yeah, it is. The Lilith says here, the issue I have when they change additional characters gay, you think age. We can create some new characters and put that into their background instead of swapping the past, but it's easy to do that. I agree. Like, I mean, God. So there was so much talk about making the guy that played Gus Magneto, played Gus in Breaking Bad. Esposito, right? And I'm like, no. One of Magneto's characteristics is that he is Jewish and he survived the Holocaust. I get it. I don't know why I'm freezing up. I'm like totally freezing up. At least it looks like I am. Have I been freezing up that much, guys? Because if I am, this ain't good. Anyway, one of Magneto's biggest things is he survived the Holocaust. He's Jewish. Like, that's one of the reasons why he is such a racist towards the human race. And it was just like, all right, you know what? You just... I understand we're getting further and further away from the Holocaust, but you can do what you need to do with mutants. You can change things. But that is one of the key things, all right, is that he's Jewish. And I understand I deal with a lot of Jewish communities in my business, and the blacks and the Jews are tied really tight together. But it makes, you can't swap him for that. It makes no sense to me. But they wanted to do it. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Still salty about Black Johnny Storm. I don't care how great Michael B. Jordan is in that. It is. Because they are, again, you cannot just, you're taking these known characters and change him. Why does Miles Morales work? Because he's not Peter Parker. He is Spider-Man, but he is not Peter Parker. And that's what people don't understand. You cannot make Bruce Wayne black. He is established. And you can't make a black Batman because Bruce Wayne is Batman. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But Miles Morales can be a different Spider-Man. He's not trying to play the same character. Superman, they want to do a Superman. No, you can't. This is a way too established character. People talked about when they wanted to make Alfred black, and people got up in an uproar. And it's like, no, people are going to be mad if you made him, American. Alfred had this. I mean, he was a butler, from England. Like, that's who he was. Like, that is his character. He is such a long established character. It's just so many things that you shouldn't do. And again, create new characters that hit the marks that you want to hit. Because the reason why so many superheroes are white is because they were created in the 40s and the 50s. I don't think that's a big secret, but like people seem to not be able to figure that out. But again, I don't know. It kind of went off on a tangent. Again, I want to talk about badass females. I think we went through a lot of them. You guys, I can't believe I forgot Buffy. I love Buffy. Like, honestly, it's like one of my favorite shows. Although I tried watching it with my daughter, and we watched like 2 or 3 episodes. I'm like, God, this is really bad at the beginning. Really bad. Not to mention, I heard Joss Whedon. I heard he yelled at people. And it upsets people. And so then he was considered a bad person. It sounded like he was an awful person. I think he was just bad. He's just mean. As the action says, Alfred would have been bad on both sides. He's English old school, but if he was made black, then people would be mad that, of course, the butler is black. Would have been bad either way. You know what? That is a side of it that I did not think of or look at, but you are damn right on that. That is... Oh man, that's that's I don't know. I just, again, now that we're off on there's just, again, I don't want to see. There's so many established characters you don't want to see, and again, it's funny because people don't even realize that Nick Fury was white. Then they did this swap of him. And what's crazy is that he was modeled after Samuel L. Jackson. But let's be honest. I mean, to get Samuel L. Jackson to play, if I was doing a movie, I think I could probably get Samuel L. Jackson to do it. That guy would do a movie for anything, right? But, yeah. But yeah, we can go on and we can change things. And sometimes it's hard to do a topic when you're the only one doing it. And I did the slides. You're not bouncing it off someone. But you guys always seem, again, everyone that stays in the chat, you guys throw out a lot of things I don't think of. And I got to say, Lilith, you brought up a lot of things that really, I don't want to say, yes, Nick Fury was David Hasselhoff. Yes, he was. So that was an upgrade to get Samuel L. Jackson. There's no doubt about that. Somewhere in the multiverse, there's a female punk with toys, YouTube channel talking about toys. Let me tell you something. I'm just going to say this. Anytime I see and again, he was talking about years and years going to punk shows. Anytime that I would see a black person actually at a punk show in the community, I was like, God damn, that's awesome. Because you didn't see too many. Like, you didn't find, and again, one of my buddies, he would go to shows with us, but he wasn't really into punk, the one guy that I skated with. So, he'd go to shows, he liked the music, but not in the same way like we did. But every now and then you'd come across some that were like really deep into it, and I'm like, that is awesome, because punks don't really care. Some of the skins, on the other hand, well, they're a bunch of assholes. But yeah, but I Lilith, you and I think Action, you guys brought up some really good points that I don't that I didn't think of. So I like having guys, I like having people in here that definitely make me think a little bit more. Because again, like I'm talking to myself, which I do. Let me tell you something. I have some of the greatest YouTube live streams in my car while I'm driving for work that no one ever hears because I'm not filming. Oh, believe me, I mean, I'll see them. I will definitely see them. That is for sure. But it is very few and far between. A matter of fact, so Sick of It All has a song called Crazy White Boy Shit. And people thought that, and it's actually a recent song of theirs. And a lot of people thought that it was talking about like the crazy white guys in the pit, but it was actually, the song is actually about the Bad Brains. And people would say that they're into the crazy white boy shit because Bad Brains, if you don't know, are a reggae hardcore band, and they're all black. And they're one of the forefathers of punk and hardcore. I mean, everyone knows who the Bad Brains are for the most part. Yeah, the only punks you ever see in Hollywood. Let me tell you, like, well, you get a lot of punks out there, but the East Coast punks and the West Coast punks are definitely different. There is no doubt about that. You know, Toombs, I said this before. The thing about, I'm not a big fan of the Bad Brains. I don't like a lot of their music, but the songs I do like are just so damn good. And they're. I see a lot of people. Wearing Bad Brain stuff, and I know they don't know what it is. I always laugh at that stuff. I mean, I saw Travis Moody. This is why I hate CM Punk. You know who CM Punk? He's a piece of shit wrestler, and he's straight edge. Maybe he really is. I don't know. He acts like he is. So I see Travis Moody, and he posts that CM Punk is back, and he's got the CM Punk shirt on, and has the X's that stand for straight edge. And what's right in front of Travis Moody? A fucking beer. Now let me tell you something. If you're not straight edge, if you haven't been in the punk scene, if you didn't spend 47 years of your life being straight edge, being ridiculed, you don't understand. Like, saying that you're straight edge, you don't say you're straight. It's a way of life. So when I see someone that wears X's on their shirt, says straight edge, it's insulting to me. I don't know why. It's something that's so deep. And when I see Travis wearing a CM Punk shirt, I'm not even mad at Travis. It just shows me that something that to me means something really, really important for who I am, and some piece of shit like CM Punk goes out and just tries to profit off it by having all these X's and stuff and selling these shirts where so many of us were ridiculed and everything, and he's just, I don't know, it's hard to understand unless if you've kind of been in the scene to understand, but it just pisses me off. And I saw that today, and I was just like, this is why myself and other straight edge people hate fucking CM Punk. Hi, buddy. Want to say hi to everyone before we leave? Say, come up here. Come on. There he is. All right, say hi. Look over there. Yeah, you know you're in TV, right? All right. Well, guys, very interesting show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, yeah, again, so you said I feel this about I feel it about straight edge. Like, I've never worn a Bud Light shirt. I'm not gonna wear alcohol shirt because I don't drink. All right. I don't wear tap out shit because I'm not a fighter. Right now, don't get me wrong. As time goes on, you wear a wrestling shirt because you like wrestling, even though you're probably not a wrestler. Um, but it's kind of one of those weird ass. Yeah, it's just one of those weird ass things. When you're straight edge, I think you realize it's yeah. And CM Punk is overrated. Let me tell you something. If you watch any wrestling, I don't watch wrestling anymore. First off, CM Punk, he has his finishing move where it looks like he struggles to do it because he's so goddamn fucking weak. Like, the guy looks like he's never been in a gym in his life. All right? The guy can barely get the people over. It looks awful. And when he throws them up over his head and he does his kick, he's wearing pads on his knees. You realize in karate, they give you pads so when you hit someone, it doesn't hurt. I mean, all right, I hate CM Punk. Listen, he wasn't awesome. He wasn't excellent. He wasn't amazing. He was perfect. All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you guys all. It's been 3 hours. Thank you guys for spending the Monday with me. Again, I did put up some new merch, or I finally got some merch up, some new merch up. So check it out if you didn't check it out earlier. If you're interested, it's up there. Order it. I'm going to be ordering myself a couple shirts because nothing says shill like like wearing your own merch. But hey, you know what? Someone's got to support myself. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, everyone. This Thursday, 10 Eastern, Thursday with a friend, I'm going to have Tony Romo on. Not Tony Romo, the shitty quarterback, but Tony Romo, the decent customizer for toys. And we're going to be getting to know him. Not just talking toys, but getting to know, where he's from, just everything. What he does for a living and everything. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining in. If I don't leave now, I probably never will. Oh, shit. I got issues. I just talk way too much. But, oh well.